COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ng hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ng hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ng hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ng hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ng hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ng hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ng hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ng hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ng hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ng usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers.
I am Mandawe, bringing the best. I am Mandawe, bringing the best. I am Mandawe, bringing the best. Ideal DepEd Mandawe, bring the best in you and me.
Airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ng usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ng hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers.
According to the World Health Organization, health is a state of complete mental, social, and physical well being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. To our schools division superintendent, Dr. Nympha D. Bongo, to our assistant schools division superintendent, Dr. Leia B. Apao, to our SGOD chief, Dr. Adeline C. Luarez, to our OICCID chief, Dr. Jaime Roylan, to our medical officer 3, Dr. Lucila O. Abilida, to our dentists, school division and school nurses, to all the school heads, clinic advisors, teachers, and senior high school learners and parents, good morning. And welcome to the webinar on getting to know COVID-19 vaccination. Please stand by for the invocation and the singing of the national anthem to be followed by the regional hymn and the Mandawe ang Dakbayan through an audio-video presentation.
We pray for blessing, we pray for peace, comfort for family, protection while we sleep. We pray for healing, for prosperity. We pray for your mighty hand to ease our suffering. All the while, you hear His broken need. Your love is way too much to give us used to hear. We cry in anger when we cannot feel you near. We doubt your goodness, we doubt your love, as if every promise of your word is not enough. And all the while you hear each desperate plea. Long have we have faith to believe. 'Cause what if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know your name? What if times of this life, all your mercies in the sky? When friends betray us, when darkness seems to win, we know despair reminds this heart that this is not our home. It's not our home. 'Cause what if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if the greatest disappointments or the aching of this life is the revealing of a greater thirst the world can't satisfy? What if trials of this life, the rain, the storms, the hardest nights, all your mercies in the sky?
Bayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, harap ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hirang, tuyat ka ng magiting, sa manlulungin, di ka masisihin. Sa dagat at bundok, sa sinuyan, sa langit mong baka, ay iyak ang ulan, awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isang ng magkawat mo'y tagumpay na nagbibigay. Ang bituin at araw niyang kailan tamay din magbibiling. Lupa ng araw-arawan at lipasin ka, buhay ang langit sa piling mo. Ang hiligaya na pamay magkakapit, ang umatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Isang yaw nato ang bugos ta nga kalipay, tungod sa panalangin nga gikan sa Dios. Kinadanagan tas kahayag kabilhilhon, kangit-ngit kipulihan sa kahibalo. Mga tigulang o batanong lungsuranon, kahigayunan ang gihatag sa tanan. Pagkabot sa tinaguan, dambong gihamin sa ilang mga dughan, paglambo sa tanan. Ang Atong kagamhanan may dakong tinguha, sa kalikunan sa nasudnon tanghiyas. Ginagukod ang nagtinguhag kalaglagan, batanon giampingan gipanalipdan. Ug ang tanang mamumuo giayudahan, gitun-an sa pagdugang sa ilang abot. Pagkaput sa kaharuhay, upamuyong luwas sa tumang kalisod, usab na ang tanan. Buluhaton mahimo sa balay, makwartahan man at tungkugihan, ug ang pag-alam sa kabataan man, ginatudlo sa atong kababaynan. Maukiling buhat sa tunghaan, sa ikapitong reyong Bisaya, nga naglangkop sa Bohol ug sa Cebu, Negros Oriental, Siquijor kining tanan.
Mandawi ang among dakbayan, garbo alang sa tanan. Naghulagway sa kalampusan, pasalig nga natuman. Ang katahong ug kadungganan, hiyas nga giampingan. Ang dapit sa kahimayaan, angay nga panig-ingnan. Pagkatamis nga litukon, sa ngalan mong madanihon. Bituon kang masilakon, ning atong bagong panahon. Kabantog o kasulundon, ngithi nga among panggaon. Hangtod sa kamatayon among mahalon, mandawi nga bililhon. Pagkatamis nga litukon, sa ngalan mong madanihon. Ditoon kang masilakon, ning atong bagong panahon. Kabantog o kasulundon, ngithi nga among panggaon. Hangtod sa kamatayon among mahalon, mandawi nga bililhon.
All right. And once again, good morning. Maayong buntag sa tanan, especially those who are watching with us via live through the DepEd Tayo Mandawi City Facebook page. And again, welcome to the webinar on the Getting to Know COVID-19 Vaccination for our senior high school learners and parents. And to help us acknowledge our participants this morning, help me welcome our division dentist too, Dr. Kushel J. Ayunan. A virtual clap, please.
Thank you, Miss Karen. Good morning. To our Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Nimfa Bongo. To our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Leia Apao. To our OIC CID Chief, Dr. Jaime Roylan. To our SGOD Chief, Dr. Adeline Luares. To our Medical Officer, Dr. Lucila Abelida. To our viewers, good morning and welcome. Allow me to introduce or acknowledge our participants for today. So watching live here in DepEd Tayo, Mandaue, our students from Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School, please acknowledge your presence by typing in your school's name, and your section and an emoji of your feeling today. Next, we have students from Mandawi City Central School's PED Center. A virtual clap, everyone. Next, we have viewers from Mandawi Science High School, Subang Dako Technical Vocational School. Please acknowledge your presence by typing in your school's name and your section and also an emoji of what you're feeling today. Next, from Kabangkalan National High School. Hello everyone, good morning. And we have viewers from Hagubiao National High School. Welcome everyone. And we have viewers from Labogon National High School and Don Gerardo National High School. We also have viewers from Tingob National High School. And last but not the least, we have viewers from Mandawi City Schools for the Arts. Welcome everyone, and I hope that you will learn something from this webinar. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the webinar. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Karen.
As well, Doc Rochelle, for that acknowledgement of our participants this morning. And also to give us a welcome message, help me introduce our very active and dynamic SJOD Chief, Dr. Adeline C. Luarez. Virtual clap, please.
To our Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Nympha D. Bongo, our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Leia B. Apaw, to my colleagues here at DepEd Mandawi City, to the Health and Medical Unit headed by Dr. Lucila Abilida, our Technical Working Group headed by our ITO, Sir JP Maniago, and of course to our valued audience this morning, our dear teachers, our senior high school learners and parents, maayong buntag natong tanan and welcome to this virtual webinar on getting to know COVID-19 vaccination. Now, it is said that vaccines are the most cost-effective healthcare intervention because it helps save a life. Hope this morning's activity will shed light to our belief about vaccination because in the absence of right information, we always jump to the worst conclusions. Always remember that information is only useful when it can be understood. Happy viewing, and once again, welcome everyone.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Luarez, for that very warm welcome. Once again, let us give Dr. Luarez a round virtual clap. All right. And of course, to state the purpose of why we are all gathered here virtually this morning, everyone, please lend your ears to our Medical Officer 3, Dr. Lucila O. Abilida.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello?
Loud and clear, Doc.
Can you hear me now? Miss Karen, can
Yes,
you hear
Doc.
me now?
Yes, Doc. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the technical problem, no? So, good morning, everyone. Dear parents, our students, and senior high students and teachers, thank you for joining us today in this webinar entitled Getting to Know COVID Vaccination. So our references are from the DOH, WHO, the Town Hall, and the HPAAC. Okay, when you try to scan your FB now, makasubo kaayo tan-aw, no? Before, ang imong makita gid sa FB, mga happy moments. Pero lately, you will see rest in peace, mga candles, makasubo, no? Anugon, especially if the person is ano no kanang useful, an asset to an institution, no? So the impact of the Delta variant is now observed nationally and in selected regions and areas of the country. Cebu is considered as one of the flagged area. No one is excused from being infected, even the vaccinated ones. No? Studies showed that even the vaccinated ones can be infected, but the advantage is the infection will not progress to serious disease. So, dili ma-ICU, dili maharot ang atong tinigom tungod sa kamahal sa hospital karon. Some will have mild symptoms and even others are asymptomatic, walay symptoms. Many of our healthcare facilities sa itong mga hospital have the capacity to prevent death. They have critical care services available and competent enough, no? Mga advanced man sad ang atong mga ICUs. But due to the increasing spread of COVID infection and the still increasing number of unvaccinated person and increased number of cases, these health facilities are not enough to take care to everyone who are sick. As you can see on the newspaper, kasubo gihapon tan-aw, no? Naglinya ang mga ambulance, number 70, number 30, ang ilang mga pasyenteng gipangda, una masud sa ospital. Bisag na anay naka-oxygen, kinahanglan na gyud atimanon, pero wa man gyud bakante ang emergency room. They are staying in the hospital. Dato sa mapobre, naglinya sa gawas sa ospital. Makasubo kay tan-aw. Studies showed that most who are not in the hospital, our studies showed, no, that those who are in the hospital, especially in the ICU unit, in serious conditions are the unvaccinated individuals. So we are inviting the senior high schools, kahit mga ages 18 naman ni sila karon, pwede na nasugo-sugo sa gawas, pwede nagalakaw-lakaw sa mall ang 18 years old. That is the purpose why you are here today, together with your parents, because you are one of the eligible population who can be vaccinated. We, the Department of Education, supports WHO Department of Health vaccination campaign, urging everyone to get their free shots now because vaccination will give us a long, reliable protection against any variant of the COVID disease. May this be a Pfizer, Sinovac, AstraZeneca, Moderna. What is important is any of this vaccine that is injected in your arm will reduce mortality, morbidity of the infection. So ayaw na huwata in town si kuan nga vaccine nga moabot kay basin maapsan ka sa COVID-19. There are cases, no? Naghuwat-huwat, yung nagka-infection, and sad to say, we lost them. This morning, we have the DepEd medical staff, the youth formation staff, joining us to discuss firstly, what is COVID-19 disease overview. We also have to highlight the preventive intervention aside from the vaccination. Kay vaccination is not enough. Naagyo tay other preventive intervention, and you will know that uh, later on. No? So we have to do this to contain the infection. Aron ma-concentrate ra gyud ang infection, di na mo spread out mo adto sa Picas barrio, mo adto sa Picas city, no? And one is vaccination ang makaprevent nato ana. So we also have a topic on mental health to address and manage your overwhelming emotions right now. So I think let's clear the way and join us this morning in behalf of our schools division superintendent Dr. Nimpadi Bongo, our assistant SDS Dr. Leia Apaw, our SGOD chief Dr. Adeline Silvares, the medical staff and the youth formation staff. Join me to say this: tungod kay ipangga ka, dali na magpabakuna na ta. So I'm returning the floor back now to Dukring for the rest of the webinar. Good morning. Thank you, everyone, and stay safe. Dok, I don't.
Doc Abilida for that statement of purpose and why we are all gathered this morning through virtually. All right, so before we begin with our series of discussions, please be reminded that this webinar is live via DepEd Tayo Mandawi City Facebook Live. And please, to all the learners, please feel free to share this to your wall so that dili lang kamo ang mahatagan og information or magiyahan sa ato ang medical unit, but also you can share the information to your other youth. Okay? And if you have questions, please feel free to type in that sa atuang chat box. All right? So I am as excited as you to learn so much for this morning. So let's start. To give us an overview about COVID-19 disease, let's lend our ears to our GPP focal nurse Exelier P. Bongo. Round of applause, please.
Thank you, Miss Karen. Thank you so much for that introduction. So, good morning once again to each and everyone. I am here. I am tasked to talk a little on the overview of COVID-19 disease. So, I hope you're already ready to hear our discussions. So, the World Health Organization, or WHO, has declared coronavirus disease 2019 as a pandemic. A global coordinated effort is needed to stop the further spread of the virus. A pandemic is defined as occurring over a wide geographic area and affecting exceptionally high proportion of the population. On December 31, 2019, a cluster of cases of pneumonia of unknown cause in the city of Wuhan, actually it started in Wuhan, China. Later pa, Doc. Hubei, which is the province in China, was reported to the World Health Organization. In January 2020, a previously unknown new virus was identified, subsequently named the 2019 novel coronavirus. Samples obtained from cases and analysis of the virus genetics indicated that this was the cause of the outbreak. This novel coronavirus was named Coronavirus Disease 2019 by the World Health in February 2020. The virus is referred to as SARS-CoV-2 and associated disease is COVID-19. Mao na siya ang ato karon. In December 2020, there have been confirmed cases in COVID-19, including deaths reported. So, what is coronavirus? So, slide please, Doc. Coronavirus, basic facts about, oh no, wait. So, what is coronavirus? Coronaviruses, later na siya, Doc, later pa. Coronaviruses are a family of viruses that cause illness such as respiratory disease or gastrointestinal diseases. Respiratory diseases can range from the common colds to more severe diseases. We have MERS-CoV-2. Wait. We have MERS-CoV-2 in 2012, otherwise known as the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. We also have severe acute respiratory syndrome or SARS-CoV in 2002 and SARS-CoV-2 in 2019. Coronaviruses are zoonotic, meaning that the viruses are transmitted between animals and humans. It has been determined that MERS-CoV was transmitted from bats to camels, then to humans, and SARS-CoV-1 or 2 from bats again to cats, then to humans, which is the recipient host. Slide please. Katong na ay kuan. Atong usa ka na siya. So we have the viruses, the SARS-CoV and the MERS-CoV. The origin of the virus, which are the bats. Intermediate host, we have the cat for the SARS-CoV-1, civet cat. For the MERS-CoV, which is the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, is camel. And SARS-CoV-2, which is the present, is a pangolin. So the recipient host is our human, so kita. Okay, next slide, please. So for the respiratory, for the signs and symptoms of coronavirus or COVID-19 are the fever. So a person who is infected with corona will manifest these signs. Fever or mag-chills pag yun. Cough, shortness of breath, maglisod og ginhawa, fatigue, kapoy ang panglawas, muscle or body aches, headache, loss of taste or smell. So mahibong na lang ka nga dili nakaka-feel og lami sa imong gikaon, which is very kanang uncommon, or sa imuhang smell. Nga wala na kay ma-feel nga kanang unsa na ro nga baho, dili nakakakuan, nawa na ang sense of smell nimo. Then sore throat. Next is congestion, kanang pagpingot sa ilong, or runny nose, meaning kanang magsigi og tuto ang sipon. Then we have nausea, kanang feeling nimo nga kasukaon ka, and then vomiting, musuka na gyud. Then for our digestive system, we have diarrhea. Okay? Mora na adi ra ko to. For other topics like the prevention, how the spread will be discussed by other discussants. Thank you for listening.
Discussion about the COVID-19 disease. And since we have already understand what is COVID-19, let us also hear a discussion on how to prevent the spread of COVID-19. These are the 9 preventive measures to be discussed by our NDEP focal, Nurse Allen C. Sabornido. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone, and especially to our senior high school learners and the parents who are the participants of this webinar. Thank you for coming. Okay. Um, it is by knowing the facts about COVID-19 disease that you may be able to take appropriate precautions, avoid getting COVID, and be able to protect yourself and others around you. So, here are the 9 important preventive measures of COVID-19. Next slide. Number 1 is stay home and self-isolate if you feel unwell, even with mild symptoms. So sa karong panahon na, gone were the days if you have headache, gamay nga hilanat, kapoy ang lawas, then you would say na, kuan lang ni siya, trangkaso lang or flu lang. But now, you would suspect COVID-19 right away. Di ba, we know that the symptoms of the flu and COVID is the same because in COVID disease, the symptoms is flu-like. So remember that uh, the manifestation of COVID symptoms differ from one person to another. So some person would manifest mild symptoms just like the fever, slight fever, headache, kapoy sa lawas. Others may manifest moderate symptoms like difficulty in breathing, na mo need na og oxygen. And others, unfortunately, mo go into severe. Like they really need mga intubation no, in the ICU. And some would present no symptoms at all. So in this case, for example, if you have experienced already slight fever or the flu-like symptoms combined with headache or tiredness or kapoy sa lawas, and then here comes your mother no nga ni sugo siya sa imo nga adto sa supermarket or sa merkado palit sa. So it's a no-no because you have the symptoms already. Although it's very slight, you have to stay at home and isolate yourself. So also, what is also that you would self-isolate or you isolate at your home. For example, if one of your family member, like a parent or a sibling, found out to be a positive by the swab test and he's a confirmed COVID positive, then you would become the close contact because you stay in one room. So, how is close contact defined? You become close contact when you are within 6 feet of that person who has COVID-19, who has COVID positive 19, for 15 minutes or more over a 24-hour period. So, mo na siya, you become the close contact, especially if you are staying in one house. So, you will quarantine for 14 days. That is the mandatory quarantine of for the COVID-19. If you in the house to isolate yourself in your house, you have to monitor your symptoms. If your symptoms progresses to a difficulty in breathing, you can call your barangay health emergency response team or the BERT to for the immediate action and to have go on to get you to a hospital. So, to isolate yourself in the house from the rest of your family, kung mag-self-isolate lang ka sa imong house, you stay in a separate room and use separate bathroom if possible. But if there's only one bathroom, you must disinfect it after use. Okay? Para dili mag-spread ang infection. Avoid contact with other members of the family and also pets. Don't share cups, towels, and utensils. And wear mask when around other people. And To confirm that you are COVID positive or not, you test yourself. You have yourself tested for the RT-PCR or the swab test. Okay, next slide. Number 2 prevention is to clean hands frequently with soap and water for 20 seconds or alcohol-based hand sanitizer if there is no available soap and water. So actually, the washing of hands is the best way to prevent the spread of germs from one person to another. The CDC or the Centers for Disease Control recommends 20 seconds or more while humming or singing the happy birthday song from beginning to the end twice. So how long is 20 seconds? While you are washing your hands properly, you sing the happy birthday song, the complete happy birthday song, ayaw siya shortcut, then you sing it twice. That is how long, 20 seconds. That is the proper way of cleaning your hands. Also, if there is no available soap and water, you can use the 70% alcohol or kadtong 70% alcohol-based nga hand sanitizer. So, you bring a small container with alcohol in it always with you and sanitize your hand from time to time. Okay? So, number 3, prevention. Cover your nose and mouth with a disposable tissue or flexed elbow when you cough or sneeze. So, look at the pictures. Take a look at the pictures. Okay. When you cough or sneeze, use a tissue, then throw it away properly. Okay. Since when we cough or sneeze, droplets go into the air and surface. So it is our responsibility to cover our mouth and nose so those droplets don't spread to other people. If you don't have a tissue, you cough or sneeze into your elbow and not your hands. Take a look at the picture. That is what you call an elbow cough. No? Bisag nakamask pa siya, that is the correct way of using or flexing your elbow when you cough or sneeze. Okay, bisan pag wala siya mask, the same thing. Ang katong bata, nag-cough or sneeze siya using his elbow. Okay, number 4 preventive measure is avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Because our hands touch many surfaces and can pick up viruses and transfer it through your eyes, nose, or mouth, and this is where the transmission of the virus takes place. So you have to refrain from touching these parts, from time to time. Number 5, preventive measure. Maintain a minimum physical distance of at least 1 meter from others or from other people. We know that COVID-19 disease is transmitted, It is spread via droplet infection when somebody coughs or sneezes, within 1 meter from you. So that's why we have to stay away on that distance, to not to avoid getting the droplet infection. We know that physical distancing is new for all of us, so it can feel strange. It is our common habit to greet each other with a hand, shake or hug, or to eat together with our friends. But in this new normal where COVID is still there, physical distancing is the smart choice to stop the spread of the infection. Okay, there are ways to stay socially connected while physically distant. So, unsa man na siya? You are socially connected while physically distant, Mag-video chat, call, text, group chat, or video games. Or we can stay at our own lang, in the room. We can also have our favorite movie, Netflix, HBO, we will read books, and others to keep us entertained while at home. So this is the number 6 preventive measure. Stay away from crowds and avoid poorly ventilated indoor spaces. Okay. The Center for Disease Control or CDC notes that COVID-19 can spread by airborne transmission, Take note, it can spread by airborne transmission, although less common than direct contact or droplet infection with an infected person. It states that some infections can be spread by exposure to a virus in small droplets and particles that can linger in the air for minutes or hours, especially within enclosed spaces with inadequate ventilation. So it is really important to check your surroundings. Don't stay long or avoid inside a room without proper airway circulation. Like for example, in your home, you use electric fans or your own windows must stay open. No. In a classroom also, if face-to-face is allowed already, windows must stay open. And if the room is air-conditioned, unsaon man pag-circulate sa hangin pagawas, we will install exhaust fan, or kung dili ta maka-install og exhaust fan, a window must be open to let the air circulate in and out. For example, adto kag supermarket or merkado, no? And then sa imong pag-focus sa imong pamalit, no? You're not able to see that you are rubbing elbows with your imong katapan, no, the person beside you, no, and the physical distancing of 1 meter is not exercised, so nakalimot ka. So you have to distance yourself kanang mamili ka sa merkado, no. And also, for example, kanang mudunol ang tindera nimo sa imong gipamalit, no, you forgot to sanitize your hands, so you must right away sanitize your hands, because we know that tanang sa merkado daghan yung tao dihang mamalit, daghan jud diha ang infection, daghan niya ang transfer of mga kanang pang-touch ta bisag kinsa nga tao or sa things. Okay. Okay, what are the 3 C's that COVID-19 spread more easily? You have to remember these 3 C's that COVID-19 can spread more easily. Number 1 C, crowded places. Number 2 C, close contact, no? Especially having conversations nga walay mask. And the 3rd C is confined or enclosed spaces with poor ventilation. Mao ni siya imong timan-an. Remember the 3 C's that COVID-19 can spread more easily. Crowded places, close contact, and confined or enclosed spaces. Number 7, preventive measure is to wear fabric mask or surgical mask. Okay, we know that the cloth mask or the fabric mask offer the least protection, no, kaysa surgical mask. So they recommend na kaning cloth mask is worn, no, kung there is less risk of contamination, and surgical mask for those katong mga higher risk like mga medical frontliners, no, in the hospital. So kaning cloth mask ngano offer na siya, it offers the least protection because the virus can easily penetrate in the cloth, so compared to sa surgical mask. But if you practice hygiene, if you change it from time to time, then you can use it, no, compared to or better than not wearing the mask at all. So it's okay. So in the new normal karon, wearing a mask is a normal part of being around other people. So either way, cloth mask ba siya or surgical mask, it is important to note that mask is effective only when it is worn properly. So a demonstration will be shown to you later by one of my colleagues on how to don your or to wear your mask. Number 8, preventive measure is regularly clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces. So, before pandemic, we clean our surroundings daily, right? But when the coronavirus comes in, no, from time to time, we are vigilant in cleaning our homes and our offices we may use bleach or chlorine to disinfect our rooms, no? And our frequently touched surfaces like the doorknobs, tables, handles, light switches, our modules, our papers, or our cell phones, most especially, or other things that you think the vaccines can stick on it and stay on it for several days. So according to the WHO, there is no confirmed timeline how long a COVID-19 virus survives in surfaces. Studies show that coronavirus can survive on surfaces for a few hours up to several days, no, depending on the type of surface and temperature or humidity of the environment. However, it is a fact that coronavirus die very quickly when exposed to the UV light or the sunlight, and it uh, survives longest in room temperature or when humidity is low. So, I would like to share to you mga guidelines kung how many days the vaccine or the virus will stay no in metal. Like for example, your doorknobs, jewelry, and utensils, it will stay 5 to 9 days. For your furniture, mga wood furniture, it will stay 4 days. For plastics, like our elevator buttons, atong mga bus seats, kanang sa bus nga lingkuranan nga plastic, the virus can stay there for 2 to 3 days. For stainless steel, like our refrigerators, our pots and pans, the virus will stay there for 2 to 3 days. Our cardboard, no, mga boxes, it will stay for 1 day. For atong mga copper, kanang mga coins, no, atong mga barya, it will stay, the virus will stay 4 hours. For our aluminum, kanang mga soda cans, it will stay for 2 to 8 hours. How about our drinking glasses, our mirrors, our windows? The virus will stay up to 5 days. What about the ceramics, our dishes, mga mugs? It will stay for 5 days. And papers, kanang atong mga modules, mga notebooks, mga newspaper, it will take some paper ko no will the virus will live for a few minutes lang while others it will live up to 5 days. So what about our clothes no mga atong mga clothes no mga beddings, the virus will stay for 2 days. Okay, so number 9, preventive measures. Get yourself vaccinated. So sleeves up to help end the pandemic. So we know that COVID-19 vaccines were developed using science that has been around for decades. They are not experimental because they went through all the required stages of clinical trials. Extensive testing and monitoring have shown that these vaccines are safe and effective. After vaccination, your body will develop immunity to fight the virus and keep you from getting seriously ill of COVID, even if you if you get the COVID-19. So, next slide. So we are in this together and we will get through this together. Do your part and together we heal as one. Thank you very much for listening.
Today for that very informative discussion about the 9 preventive measures of the spread of COVID-19. So we all know that you have already heard some of these information through social medias or through word of mouth. But of course, we want to let everyone know that the medical unit and the youth formation division and of course the division of Mandaue City care so much about our learners and, of course, our parents. And since we already have discussed about the COVID-19 disease and the preventive measures, let us also hear from our next speaker on how to protect ourselves from getting COVID. She's no other than the ARH focal nurse Ashrel M. De Ramos. A virtual clap, please.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for introducing me today, Miss Karen. So I'm going to discuss the other ways to protect ourselves from COVID-19. DOH advises the public to practice protective measures. It is still the best way to protect oneself against COVID-19. So wear face mask and face shield. So elaborate. I'll just elaborate what Ma'am Lay has discussed a while ago. That masks and face shields are a simple barrier to help prevent your respiratory droplets from reaching others. Study shows that mask reduces spray of droplets when you worn over the nose and mouth. You should wear a mask even if you do not feel sick. So as you could see in the picture, the one wearing with the green shirt is the one that is wearing the proper way of face mask and face shield. So how to wear the face mask properly? So number one, clean your hands before you put your mask on, as well as before and after you take it off, and after you touch it at any time. Number two, make sure it covers both your nose, your mouth, and your chin. Number three, when you take off a mask, store it in a clean plastic bag. And number four, every day, either wash it if it's a fabric mask or a disposable mask, you should put it in a proper trash bin. So as you could see in the picture, the proper way of wearing the mask is that is the picture that is on the top. It should lock into your nose bridge, and then it would reach or cover the whole chin, and the lobe should be hang on your both ears. So that's the proper way of wearing the face mask. Ensure Other ways to protect us from having COVID-19 is to ensure that there is a good indoor ventilation and airflow. As you could see in the picture, the one that is in the orange color shows a poor ventilation. Why? Because there's no open windows, no fans, and no portable air cleaner. So as you could see, na stagnant lang jud ang air inside because wala sila'y kagawsan. And the good ventilation picture is shown in the blue one. So this is the proper way wherein there is an open window, a ceiling fan, a window exhaust fan blowing air outside, and a portable air cleaner. And by the way, kung naa kay portable air cleaner, it also depends upon the area. So make sure you know your area so that you can buy the right air cleaner. So another way to protect us is to boost our immune system simply by we eat the right foods like fruits, vegetables, rich in protein foods. We also do exercise at least 30 minutes in a day. Have a good sleep for at least 8 hours. Drink our vitamins, and of course, we also need to talk and chat with our loved ones. So schools or office set up for detection and referral. So we in the DepEd, we crafted a health assessment form. With it are questions regarding your health conditions. So other use a printed forms while the other use the QR code. The QR code is the one that you use your phone. You open your camera, you picture the code, and then same questions will appear, and that questions you need to answer, of course, and containing the health questions about your condition. So that's the QR code and printed forms. So this is the printed form. This is an example of a printed form that we crafted in DepEd. So it contains questions like if you have fever, if you have sore throat, cough and colds, have you visited to a certain place for the past 14 days, or have you been with a person that is a confirmed COVID positive? So it pertains to that question. So that's the questions that you're going to answer upon going to schools or offices before you enter the office or the school. So for detection and referral, measures are that upon answering the QR code, everyone is subject to temperature check. We use the thermal scanner prior to entering. Those who will have the reading of 37.5 Celsius or above shall be provided with a surgical mask and sent to a private screening area, basically not the clinic, that shall be set up near the entrance of the school or the office, when the concerned personnel or visitor can be further examined for appropriate management, intervention, and referral. So, entrance to the school of visitors and external stakeholders shall be discouraged nowadays. So, no face to face communication shall be prioritized at this moment. So other measures is devised to implement alternative means of recording and monitoring attendance. So na-discuss na nako, we use the thermal scanner, we use the QR codes. That are some of the alternative devices that we're using right now. And set a flexible dining policy. Yeah, for the dining policy, lunchroom COVID-19 prevention measures, we also have that. So we need to follow that. We need to wash our hands before and after eating. Do not congregate in the lunch area. Maintain social distancing while seated. Clean and disinfect all appliances before use and do not share food with others. Bring your own water bottle. So we also limit the number of individuals who can eat in the pantry at the given time. So we discourage lunch outs for this time. So for measure 12, implement adjustment in schedule, assignment, and activities to allow for physical distancing in classroom or in office premises. So nowadays, we're practicing this one since we don't have a face-to-face class. We have the online and the module class to avoid social interaction. And we also restrict the conduct of physical or face-to-face large gatherings, activities that will require close contact or where physical distancing may be possible. So for now, we don't have any sports activities in DepEd due to this new normal measures. So measure 14, provide and maximize use of online platforms, so which do not require physical interactions or congregations for the performance of tasks. Due to the new normal nowadays, so face-to-face is not allowed. So basically, we're all doing work from homes, and we're into our gadgets nowadays. So an example of this is this one we are doing right now, webinar. So webinar is an example of this online platform to continue performing our task. So DepEd Health and Safety Policy, Measure 23, we also have the strictly enforce the ban of on smoking and vaping. So it's under DO 48 series of 2016, Division Memorandum 111 series of 2019. So to provide access to brief tobacco intervention, need to communicate with the LGU for tobacco control ordinances. So we also have the social distancing, one desk apart. So in DepEd, we're using the furniture desk and chair. So that was issued 2018. So and the all desks, the two-seaters with a maximum of 21 learners. So as you could see in the picture, the old one with a table. So there are markings. The one with the markings are the chairs that are not being seated. So, one na siya ang new setup sa atong rooms. And the second picture is shown with the armchairs na siya with a maximum of 18 learners. So, that's how you will do the setup in your classrooms. So, physical arrangement for measure 26 sufficiently provide the following. So, in our offices or in our schools, we should provide, mostly in our comfort rooms, toilet papers and towels. We should also provide designated trash bins, adequate water and soap supply for hand washing, and sanitizers, of course. So in measure 27, there are display or we also distribute IEC materials on health and safety. So these are some of the examples of the IEC materials that we give to the schools. So they put this in their bulletin or upon the entrance of the school. So it's all about the COVID, how to protect us from COVID. So for physical arrangement, so in school or office, clinic, For basic services, we have health assessment and physical examination as needed. But due to the new normal, we were not able to do this face to face to our teachers and students. So what we do is that we crafted a health assessment form to we provided to them. They were able to answer that one, and that's the way that we can update. We will be updated of their conditions, and we gave appropriate interventions, first aid, and treatment by using those forms. So there's also proper management of symptoms, including recommendations to necessary rest at home. So our doctors do also referrals for the conditions also. So we also assess the existing telemed platforms and emergency hotlines. So for the telemed, that's what we are using right now. So every time personnel from DepEd or a student is not feeling well, they usually message us or give us call, and then we do the telemed form. So we also have a private screening area near the entrance, mostly in our schools, a separate space for the sick and awaiting referral. So that is separate from the clinic. So ngano man nga gikinahanglang tawagan ang BHEART. So what's BHEART, guys? BHEART is the Barangay Health Emergency Team. Number one, the purpose is aron na ay mag-monitor sa imong mga simptomas matag adlaw. Number two, aron matabangan ang mga tao nga nanginahanglan sa medical na pag-amuma bisan pang kung kini walay kalabuan sa COVID-19 o magpadala dayon sa mga tambalanan nga kinahanglan niini. And number three, aron matabangan ang mga tao nga may grabe nga sintomas sa COVID-19 sama sa paglisod sa ginhawa aron madala gilayon sa labing duol nga tambalanan. So it's very important for us to know who is BHEART. So lastly, and most importantly, we should be get vaccinated. Above all the protections that I'm mentioning and mentioned by Ma'am Lay, the most importantly is we need to be vaccinated. Why? Because we need to protect ourselves. You need to protect your loved ones, our community, our country, and the world. With the people vaccinated in the area, the closer we get to protecting the population. So get vaccine when it's available to you. And most importantly, we need to pray because God's name is a place of protection, everyone. Always remember that it's the most powerful thing in the world. So thank you so much for listening to my discussion and keep safe, everyone. God bless.
All right. Thank you as well, Ma'am Ash, for that very substantial discussion about the how to protect ourselves from COVID. All right. So, kumusta ta diha, learners and parents, also teachers who are watching with us? I'm currently looking at the DepEd Tayo Mandawi City Facebook. And let me know if naapata dere, if you are still watching by typing in your name, name of your school, and also unsa ato ang feeling karon nga nakadungog tag mga information from our nurses about sa vaccine and the COVID-19. All right? Allow me also to read from the chat box. We have Mary Gingoni, good morning, watching from Pagsabungan National High School. We also have Diane Sardenia watching from Mandawi City Comprehensive National High School, grade 11 Taylor. We also have Ma'am Emily Kabusa. Hi, Ma'am. Good morning. She is my English teacher way back in Mandawi City Comprehensive. Good morning also, Ma'am Flora Ilanan. She is feeling blessed. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for watching. We have Vale RJL. Good morning. Good morning also, Ma'am Jasmine Necesario, watching from Kanduma National High School. We also have with us Alvarado Levy from UCLM. Wow, good morning, sir. And we have from Mandawi City Science High School, Sheila Pregoner. Good morning. Still watching with us is Kay Kai. Also watching from Mandawi City Science High School, Sir Christian Yokte, good morning, watching from Kanduman High School. Eloisa Julia, grade 11, good morning. Good morning also to Ma'am Jocelyn Villamor, our PSDS. God rules and reigns. That's true. All right, so let's proceed with our discussion. Our next speaker for this morning will discuss to us about a Bida Solution and Apat Dapat. She is no other than our Division COVID Focal, Nurse Maria Patricia R. Ong. Good morning, Ma'am Pat.
Lay, nawala lagi ko. Okay. Okay na to? Yes. Okay, good morning to each and everyone. Madungog ra ko?
Yes, Ma'am Pat, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. Once again, good morning to each and every one of us. Today I will be discussing and will be helping you understand what is Bida Solution Apat Dapat all about. The Department of Health, in behalf of Interagency Task Force for Emerging Infectious Disease, in coordination with President Communication Operation Office, is currently leading the implementation of Bida Solution sa COVID-19. The campaign revealed that the following behavior changes can cut down the virus transmission by up to 96%. The Bida Solution COVID-19 was created. Its aim to encourage the Filipino people to take the active role in fight against common enemy. Isa atong kontra, si COVID-19, maoning kontrabida. The campaign promotes an active role of individual in the fight against COVID-19. And by practicing the following behavior, it's simplified 4 letters. B, mauna siya, bawal. Okay, next slide please. Bawal walang mask. Okay, proceed atong primero. Bawal walang mask at face shield. Ngano kaha no nga kinahanglan magud ta mag-wear? Because wearing of mask reduces the transmission by 96% for N95 masks and 67% for non-95 masks. Gani, its study also showed that the use of face shield can use a complementary to face mask to further reduce transmission. Gani, gi-emphasize sa DOH that the face shield should be used as not just a substitute for face mask, and it should be used an additional mask for our protection. Okay. I, it stands for isanitize ang kamay, iwas hawak sa mga bagay. And this is the second focus on how hygiene disinfection. Hand washing been proven to greatly minimize the chances of contracting the viruses as it destroy structure of virus. Ngunit kabantay mo, kung mga tuta sa mga mall, bank, o offices, pero medyo tang isanitize anang ilang guard o di gani di ta pasudlon kung dili ta maghunaw kay mauni pamaagi nga i-minimize ang chances of contracting the virus as it destroy the structure of the viruses. Okay, let's proceed. D. D stands for dumistansya sa isang metro. This is why importante jud kaayo nga kaning gitawag natong social distancing. In observance of physical distancing by 1 meter can reduce the chance of transmission by 82%. Protection, increasing the distance is lengthened. Gani, pero medyo ta nga mo encourage ani
Physical distance as it reduces the transmission of virus which happen through close contact. Gani, importante sad ang wearing of eye protection as recommended as shield the virus from entering the eyes, which is another entry point. Okay, A. Unsa naman po ning A? Importante yun ni. A stands for alamin ang totoong impormasyon. We need to know the correct information, updates upon the pandemic to reduce the chaos, fear, and misinformation about current situation. Maoning, di jud ta magpataka og hatag mga wrong information, no? Labi na kaning mga istorya-istoryang dili maayo. Kinahanglan katug yung naagyod sa DOH information sa World Health Organization nga katuyong authorized. Okay. I've also included the checklist from DOH. Unsa man ni siya nga no importante ni kaning gitawag og BIDA checklist. Kaning BIDA checklist importante gud ni nga mahinumdom ta labi na jud og mogawas ta. First, hinumduman nato una ta mogawas duna batay gisulob nga face mask. Ikaduha, duna batay alcohol or hand sanitizer nga bound. Ikatulo, kaya ko bang dumistansya sa 1 metro mula sa ibang tao? Mauna ni siya kung di man jud kalikayan magawas sa balay, maggrocery ta, matutag merkado, importante jud nga mahinumduman ta nga maglikay jud ta og daghang tao og labi na jud social distancing at least 1 meter apart. Okay. Next is mayroon ba akong protection sa mata? Importante sad ni as what I have told nga usa pod ni sa port of entry nga ato usang panalipdan atong mata. Mao ning kinahanglan dili lang face mask kundi apil ang face shield. Lastly, nga gi-apil sa checklist is may baon ba akong tubig? Importante sad ang tubig para kanunay tang ma-hydrate. Labi na karong panahon na nga init jud kaayo. Okay. Kanina sang apat dapat. Unsan man sad kahaning apat dapat, no? What does it mean that the COVID-19 in the air? The virus causes of COVID-19 is considered an airborne or may stay in boil air. Because of this, it is best to maintain good ventilation at home, cars, at work, and in public places. And the more economical, the more expensive the prevention is when experience good ventilation. Importante good ang proper o good ventilation. Gani, mauni siya number 1 sa apat dapat. No? Kanang apat dapat is also a campaign nga nabuo ni through Health Professional Alliance Against COVID-19 to prevent us nga dili pod taon ta matakdan sa COVID-19 virus nga gipangitaan sa pamaagi mao ning acronyms na pod, no? Okay, unsa ning apat dapat? Number 1 is A stands for air circulation and ventilation. It encourages especially sa mga closed places, areas like at home. We need to open the windows o bisan pagani sa moving vehicles for proper ventilation para makaiwas ta og COVID-19. This is to ensure proper ventilation with outside air can help reduce the concentration of airborne contaminants, including viruses indoors. Gani, proper ventilation also reduce surface contamination by removing some viruses particles before they can fall out of air and land of surface. Next, P. P in apat dapat stands for physical distancing. As COVID is not just transmitted through airborne but also in the skin and even with saliva, which connect us, importante good ang physical distancing. It helps to limit the spread of COVID-19. This means we keep distance at least 1 meter from each other and avoid spending time in crowded places or in group. The letter A. Letter A in apat dapat, since it stands for always use face mask and face shield. Mask should be used as part of comprehensive strategy of measure to suppress transmission and save lives. The use of masks alone is not sufficient to provide an adequate level of protection against COVID-19. Maunang importante jud nga kanunay tang mag-wear og face mask. Bisan gani na atas balay, labi na kung di jud maiwasan nga naatay bisita. No? Maunang kanunay jud ni natong timan-an ang kaning apat dapat. Now, INTI stands for time of interaction. Interaction time, it should be 15 minutes or less. We do this just to be more safe in preventing the virus from spreading with having less time of interaction with others. Gani, ako juning research, according to Fast Company research, it makes sense that spending more time with some people have, have more risk through worst case scenario like in Sydney, Australia. They show that technically possible for the virus to be transmitted even during fleeting encounter. No? And others have suggested that it's more likely to happen with Delta virus than original coronavirus. Gani, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention had originally estimated that the close contact with an infected person means not just 15 minutes together. Labi na jud kung unmasked and indoor. The recent study suggests that the Delta virus may have a virulent load that is 1,000 times higher than the original virus. Grabe, no? Gani, they roughly calculated that the equivalent amount of time for Delta variant would be 1 seconds of contact rather than 15 minutes. Murag, isog-isog na gud nino nya paspas na gud ining trabaho ni si Delta variant. Mo ning giadhat ang tanan, the bida solusyon COVID-19 in apat dapat encourage the public to regularly adopt the minimum health standard as a behavioral lifestyle as we course through the new normal. Mauning kami as DepEd family, especially in medical team, kanunay magpahinumdom, sama-sama nating labanan ng COVID-19. Let's continue practice minimum health standard, hygiene protocol to prevent transmission of COVID virus to reduce the risk of exposure and transmission of the disease. That's all. God bless. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Ma'am Pat, for your discussion about bida solution and apat dapat. All right. So let me just remind our viewers and to everyone in our Facebook Live today, if you have questions regarding the topics, please feel free to type in the chat box. Our medical team and also our technical team will take care of that, of your questions. All right. So let's proceed. So we have with us also this morning, we are lucky to have with us this morning to discuss about how to manage AEFIs or the adverse effects following immunization. Ladies and gentlemen, our dentist in charge, let's give it up for Dr. Gina C. Yuamador. Good morning, Doc.
Uy, ako. Good morning, everyone. Before we, madungog na ko, Ma'am Karen.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Yes, good
Okay.
morning, Ma'am Mix. My apologies.
Yes.
Before we go on with managing AEIF, let us first hear from Ma'am Rumela Siniza about COVID-19 vaccine administration.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Karen. No, before ta mo go sa atong mga adverse effects, ato sa i-discuss ang atong mga vaccines. No, so I'm here to talk about our vaccines. Kanang mga common vaccines lang nga naabot na diri sa ato and mao nay gipanghatag no nga akong ipang discuss. So ang atong vaccines evolving document gihapon ni siya kay bisag karon daghan natang nabakunahan. Continuous pa man gihapon ang iyang study. So daghan kaayong updates and kanang mga kausaban. No, so COVID-19 vaccines, which ones? Next slide please, Doki. Start ta. Slide please. So there are 4 types of COVID-19 vaccines, no? Anam-anam na lang akong istorya. So we have the inactivated vaccines, no? Doki, Dokring. Please go sa slides. Okay. So, wala siya. There are 4 types of vaccines. So, we have the inactivated or weakened virus vaccine. So, kaning inactivated, it uses a form of the virus that has been inactivated or weakened. So, it cannot cause a disease. Dili ni siya ka-replicate. So, dili ni siya mo-generate og COVID infection diri nato. So, patay nga virus ang gigamit ani niya. No? Treated with chemicals, nya mo na gibakuna. Then we have the protein-based vaccines. Gamit siya og harmless fragments of proteins or protein shells that mimic the COVID-19 virus to safely generate an immune response. So, wala murag sa atong mga vaccines nga naa karon wala tay protein-based vaccine nga niabot. Then we have the viral vector vaccines. It uses a virus that has been genetically engineered so that it can cause a disease. But it produces coronavirus proteins to safely generate an immune response. So nigamit ni siya ang kanang mga viral vector vaccines, nigamit ni siya sa common cold virus. Pero kanang common cold virus ilang gigamit, patay na gihapon na siya. So dili ta mahadlok nga magka-COVID tungod kay nabakunahan ta ani. Then we have the RNA and DNA vaccines. So kaning RNA vaccines mao ni siya pinaka-modern, mao ni siya bag-o nato nga type sa bakuna. It is a cutting-edge approach that uses genetically engineered RNA or DNA to generate a protein that itself safely prompts an immune response. Para masabtan yun nato kung how does vaccines work, so please watch this video.
Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik. Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas.
Simula ng pagkalat ng sakit na COVID-19 sa iba't ibang parte ng mundo, ay nagsimula ring maghanap ang mga eksperto ng bakuna laban dito. Sa ngayon, nagtulungan ng pamahalaan at mga kumpanya mula sa iba't ibang bansa at ginawang prioridad ang paggawa ng bakuna. Matapos masiguro ng Philippine Food and Drug Administration o FDA na ligtas ang bakuna, mabibigyan nito ng emergency use authorization para maggamit ng gobyerno. Ang bakuna ay gawa sa hindi na aktibo o inactivated, pinahina o weakened, o mga pinatay na kopya ng buo o piling parte ng pathogen. Mahalagang maunawaan na ang mga katangian nito ay iba sa orihinal na virus at hindi ito nagdudulot ng sakit. Ang pathogen na sanhi ng sakit ay maaaring isang bacteria, virus, o iba pang microorganismo. Kapag naibigay ang vaccine sa katawan, ay naguhudyat ito ng isang natural immune response kung saan gumagawa ng antibodies ang katawan sa paraan ng pagkuha ng mga piling parte ng microorganismo at pagproseso nito para hindi na siya nakakahawa. Ginagaya ng isang bakuna ang mga pathogen na nakadudulot ng sakit upang ma-stimulate ang natural immune response ng katawan. Ginagaya ng bakuna ang proseso ng pagkakaroon ng sakit at pagbuo ng antibodies na hindi kasama ang mga masasamang sintomas at epekto. Ang layunin ng mga antibodies ay protektahan ng katawan natin at labanan ang mga virus o bakterya. Kapag nakagawa na ng antibodies ang katawan natin, kinukode ng ating memory cells ang microorganismo upang madali itong maalala at mamukaan ng katawan. Ngayon na alam na ng mga memory cell ang itsura ng virus, kaya nang gumawa agad-agad ng katawan natin ng antibodies kapag nahawahan tayo ng totoo, buhay at buo na virus. Importanteng maalala natin na malaking tulong man laban sa COVID-19 ng pagkakaroon ng vaccine, hindi ito gamot o luna sa sakit na ito. Kahit may bakuna na, kailangan pa rin nating sundin ng mga minimum public health standards para mas mabawasan ang pagkakataong mahawahan tayo ng COVID-19. Sanitize lagi ang kamay. Magsuot ng face mask at face shield. Dumistansya ng 1 metro at panatilihing malusog ang sarili at matibay ang resistensya upang maiwasan ang pagkakasakit. Laging tatandaan, prevention is still better than cure, kaya naman patuloy lamang ang pagsasagawa ng preventive measures. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Together, kaya natin to be the solusyon sa COVID-19.
Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito?
Okay. So nakakuha rata no kung how our vaccines work. Okay, so karon ila-ilaho nato ang atong mga bakuna nga nangabot diri sa atoa. So we have pila naman ni ka vaccines nga niabot no. So i-discuss ra nako ang unsay naa. So we have the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, we have our Moderna which is quite new rajud nga naabot. Then we have the AstraZeneca, the Gamaleya, the Sinovac, and then the Johnson & Johnson no katong Janssen no. So you can see here on my slide kaning highlighted in red is the vaccine efficacy for Pfizer BioNTech. Ang iyahang efficacy is 95%, while for the Moderna it is 94%. For AstraZeneca it ranges from 70 to 86%, and for the Gamaleya 91%. But please be reassured nga kaning atong mga vaccines, bisag lahi-lahi ni siyang efficacy, all of the vaccines offer 100% efficacy from us getting severe COVID infection. No? So, kampante na gyud ta gamay nga simbako mataptan man ganing gihapon ta og COVID, dili na ta mo develop into severe COVID. Okay, so next slide please. I-discuss nato further ang atong vaccines. Okay, we have the Novavax. Novavax, 2 doses gihapon ni siya. It uses the protein subunit, pero kaning Novavax wala pa ni siya na-grantee og emergency use authorization sa atoa, so wala pa ta ani. Again, unsa man diay nang emergency use authorization. So mao na siya kanamura na siya pina-permit nga gihatag sa atong gobyerno sa kaning mga manufacturer sa bakuna kay na proven man nga safe and effective ang atong mga bakuna. Niagi na siya og pila ka stages sa clinical trials. Maunang grantan siya og emergency use authorization kay para magamit na dayon kay tungod sa pandemic. No, dili ra man ni diri ra sa Pilipinas good ang COVID. It is worldwide. Maunang nagsabot-sabot ang tanang countries no nga para makahimo og bakuna para maka-move on nata from this pandemic. Next, we have the Oxford AstraZeneca. So, ang platform sa Oxford AstraZeneca is the viral vector. Cold chain requirements or ang storage requirements sa AstraZeneca is 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. So, okay ra jud ni siya. Sayon ra siya i-transport kay pwede man siya ma-store sa ato ang normal refrigerator temperature. Then, ang vaccination site, asa siya i-inject sa atong upper outer arm or your deltoid muscle. Kinsa may tagaan sa Oxford AstraZeneca? 18 years old and above. Then 2 doses ni siya, no? Naa siya 28 days interval. But again, di ba, ingon ko ganina nga continuous ang studies sa atong vaccines. So nasuta sa atong mga eksperto nga mas nindot day ang effect sa Oxford AstraZeneca kung longer ang iyang interval. So mo na makabantay ta nga imbis 28 days, gi-extend siya to 8 to 12 weeks nga interval. No, from the first dose to your second dose. Next, we have the Pfizer BioNTech na vaccine. So, unsa man ang platform sa Pfizer BioNTech? It uses the messenger RNA. So, mahal-mahal ni siya. And for the cold chain requirements, it needs negative 70 to negative 80 degrees centigrade. So, sub-zero nga temperature. So, kinahanglan tag katong mga freezer gyud ani niya. Asa man siya itulpok. So, the same gihapon ang site, upper outer arm or your deltoid muscle. Kinsay pwede tagaan, 18 years old and above, pero lately, gitagaan siya, gi-extend ang iyahang emergency use authorization sa atong Pfizer last May 2021 nga pwede na siya ihatag sa 12 years old and above. No? So pero sa kalimitado sa ato ang vaccine, wala pa gyud nihatag ang Philippines sa below 18 years old. Kay wa pa bang ganing nato na cover tanan, no? And then for the route of administration, intramuscular gihapon siya and it also needs 2 doses. So mubo ra ni siya og interval 0 to 28 days or 21 days. 28 days ang ato ang Pfizer BioNTech. Next slide, Doki. Okay, so next we have the Moderna. So Moderna, pareho ni siya sa Pfizer vaccine. So it uses messenger RNA. Then for the cold chain or storage requirements, negative 70 to 80 degrees centigrade gihapon siya. No, it is very fragile like the Pfizer BioNTech. So, same gihapon ang vaccination site, your upper outer arm, and then ang age nga gihatagan is 18 years old and above gihapon, not all. Then, route of administration is intramuscular, 2 doses gihapon at 28 days interval. fourth vaccine or ka-fifth na siguro ni, we have the Sinovac. Ang Sinovac, gingamit siya sa inactivated or katong weakened nga virus, no? Ang cold chain requirements sa atong Sinovac is 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. So, sa yun ra gihapon siya i-transport kay pwede man siya ma-store sa body sa temperature sa ato ang refrigerator. So, si Sinovac, ang iya gyapong vaccination site is the upper outer arm, and the age nga pwede tagaan is 18 to 59 years old. It is given intramuscularly at 2 doses gihapon with 28 days interval. Then we have the Gamaleya or the Sputnik 5, no? Mao ni siya ang vaccine gikan sa Russia. So it uses non-replicating viral vector gihapon na vaccine like our Oxford AstraZeneca. Pero ang cold chain requirement sa atong Gamaleya is fragile also. It needs negative 16 degrees centigrade nga kanang storage. Then vaccination site is still the same, your deltoid muscle. Yeah. Kinsay tagaan pwede ani is the 18 to 60 years old, then given intramuscularly at 2 doses for 21 days interval. Then we have what there is sa akong list is the Johnson nga vaccine from Johnson & Johnson. So si Johnson gihatag ni siya exclusively for our senior citizens usa kay 1 dose ra gyud ni siya na vaccine. Okay, next slide please. So unsa may contraindications nato sa ato ang vaccine? Kinsa may dili ra jud pwede tagaan, no? Mao ra gyud ni siya ang state nga contraindication, known history of a severe allergic reaction to any vaccine component such as polyethylene glycol or related molecules. Persons with an immediate reaction from the first dose should not receive additional doses, no? Katong nangatol na libagha nya naglisod ginhawa, no? Dili na pwede. So severe allergic reaction ra gyud ang atong contraindication sa atong mga bakuna. Next slide please. Okay, kay naaman tay contraindication, naasa tay mga precautions or pahimangno. So for persons with history of any immediate allergic reaction to any other vaccine or injectable therapy, a risk assessment should be conducted to determine the type and severity of infection. They may still receive vaccination, but they should be counseled about the risk of developing allergic reaction, no? And the risk should be weighed against the benefits of vaccination. Such persons should be observed for 30 minutes after vaccination. So, igabot nato sa ato ang vaccination post, daghan kay tag-agian nga kanang mga lamisa, no? Sa daghan kay tag kanang agian nga kanang pina-stages ba? So first, igabot nimo sa registration. So dito ihatag nato atong ID, ikuan dayon ipangita nila kung na-registered ba ta. After sa registration, next station will be katong naay mga nurses, naay mga medical practitioners adto dito mag BP. So adto sa dito mukuha sa ato ang history. So in that station, mustulti na taon sa atong mga kanang kuan ha kung naatay allergies or naatay mga gipangmu sa lawas kay para ma-assess naman, makita na dito daan kung angayan ba ta mo continue sa bakuna or dili. Kung mo pasar ta ditong dapita mo proceed na sa third station. So naa na dito sa third station ang mga doktor. So sila na sad ang mo-assess nato kung angayan magitang mo dawat sa bakuna. No, kung pasar ta sa mga doktor, proceed ta with the vaccination. So mo na among gisulti or gikuan ninyo nga dili ra gyud ta angay mahadlok, no? Kay kung dili ta angayan hatagan, dili ra gyud ta pugson, pero mas maayo yung magpabakuna. Next, food contact or seasonal allergies including eggs, gelatin, and latex are not considered precautions or contraindications. So pananglit, allergic man kog manok, ay dili lang ko pabakuna. Allergic kog itlog, no, pwede ra gyud ta bakunahan. Maunang obserbahan gyud og ayo dito sa atong vaccination post ang inyuhang reaction pohon kung panalit magpabakuna nata. Taas-taas mo og kanang staying time dito sa atong vaccination post kay tungod sa kanang further observation. Dili man ta papaulion dayon. Next, vaccination of people suffering from acute febrile illness or acute infection, including symptomatic SARS-CoV infection, should be deferred until they have recovered from the illness. So, pananglit, gitawgan na ka or giteksan na ka nga kanang imurong schedule sa vaccination. Karong adlawag unya lain man imong gipamati na amang kamuro man ko kasip-uno nangatol man akong tutunlan mura ko kahilantanon. So pwede ra jud ka mo text og balik sa katong ni text nimo nga taga VOC or Vaccination Operation Center. Pwede ra ka mo pahibaw nga ma'am naglain man ang akong paminaw, pwede i-reschedule lang ko. O, so okay ra gyud na. Ayaw adto kung pananglit na ay gipamati sa lawas. Until you feel well, anha pata magpabakuna. Next slide please. Okay. For persons with comorbidities, unsa maning comorbidities? Katong nay mga gipamati like hypertension, high blood, diabetes, kana hubak, asthma, and stable and well-controlled infections such as hepatitis B or C that have been identified as increasing the risk of severe COVID, vaccination is recommended. So kaning mga taong na ay mga gipangmu sa lawas, ayaw kahadlok nga magpabakuna. Mas angayan silang mudawat sa bakuna. Kay ngano man, mas increase man gud ang ilang risk to develop severe COVID, no? Kaning mga high blood ron, na ay hubak, no? Mas angayan gyud sila nga mudawat sa vaccination. And then, kung naa kay comorbidity na belong ka sa A3 nga kanang classification, mo danay pangitaon sa ato ang registration sa vaccination post ang inyuhang clearance from your medical doctor, no? Kinahanglan na atay clearance. And then your doctor knows you best man. Magpa-clear ta dito or kung dili man ganing magdasa resita sa atong mga tambal kay ipakita ngadto nga naa gyud ta nag-take gyud ta sa kanang atong maintenance medicines. Next, available data on administration to pregnant women are insufficient to inform vaccine-associated risk in pregnancy. Vaccination is not currently recommended during pregnancy unless the benefit of vaccination outweighs the potential vaccine risk. So, kanang careful magyud ta kung pananglit mabdos no ang usa ka babae no, so dili kay ta kanang morisgo nga maghatag og vaccines, pero with COVID giway niya ang kanang potential risk sa kuan sa atong mga mabdos nga babae no. Kung pananglit nagtrabaho ni ang atong pregnant nga woman nga sa hospital, so taas gyud ang iyahang chances simbako matakdan. So pwede ra gyud siya bakunahan. And anyway, ang atong vaccines dili man ihatag during the first trimesters, ari na siya ihatag kung pananglit magpabakuna man gyud ang atong mga mabdos, talianak na ang ato ang mabdos nga babae. So there are no data on the safety for breastfeeding women or on the effects on the breastfed child. As this is not a live virus vaccine and the mRNA does not enter the nucleus of the cell and is degraded quickly, it is therefore biologically and clinically unlikely to pose a risk to the breastfeeding child. So less ang risgo sa ato ang nagpasuso nga mga babae sa ilahang mga bata, no? So pwede ra gihapon gyud sila bakunahan, labi na kung high risk sad ang ilahang trabaho, no? Ma-expose sila sige. Okay, next, immunocompromised persons may have diminished immune response to vaccines. Nevertheless, if part of a recommended group for vaccination, they may be vaccinated. So katong mga immunocompromised, katong like na ay cancer, na ay HIV, katong na ay mga autoimmune conditions, pwede ra gyud gihapon sila mabakunahan with the medical clearance from their physician, no? So bisag immunocompromised na sila, pwede ra gyud tagaan sa bakuna. Persons with history of Bell's palsy may receive vaccination if there are no contraindications. Currently, there is no conclusive evidence that observed cases were causally related to vaccination. So katong nagka-Bell's palsy, no, na may issue sa una ani nga nagkurog-kurog, no, kanang pero na-prove ra man gid to nga murag dili ra gid siya related, no. So pwede ra gid gihapon siya nga mabakunahan. For persons who have received monoclonal antibodies or convalescent plasma as part of COVID-19 treatment, vaccination should be deferred for at least 90 days to avoid interference of the treatment with vaccine-induced immune response. So katong mga naka-receive na COVID nya nakadawat og aning kanang monoclonal antibodies or katong convalescent plasma, no, katong mahal kaayo nga i-inject sa lawas kay para ma-cure ka sa COVID infection, i-defer usa for 90 days ang inyong schedule sa bakuna. But kung pananglit na COVID ka, unya kanang naayo na ka, as long as you feel well, wala nagigipamati, wala nagi symptoms, pwede nagyudayon mabakunahan si ang kanang naka-recover, ang person nga naka-recover from COVID infection. So dili na ta kinahanglan nga muhuwat og 90 days. Sa una, mauni siya, muhuwat sad gihapon og 90 days. Pero karon through the studies, pwede na gyud as long as the person feels well or recovered nga wala na symptoms. Next slide please. Okay, so i-run through lang na nako ha. So kay i-discuss man ni Doc Gina later. So mga possible side effects, very common ra gyud kaayo is headache, katong muscle pain, mga ngapoy ang lawas, pain at injection site. Unya there are times mga kanang mo feel og chills or mo sakagamay ang temperature, and then usahay sa na uban nga murag kasukaon pero naa say uban gigutom lagi ko sige, no. So amo na ni na murag na experience mao na ni akong nadunggan nga lagi gutom kog sige after sa injection, no. Rare ra kaayo is katong anaphylaxis, katong mga hypersensitivity, Bell's palsy, lymphadenopathy, very rare ra gyud siya nga kanang side effect nato nga nadunggan karon. Then maybe you will ask, kanang pwede ba ko makadawat sa COVID vaccination bisag bag-o ra kong na kanang bakunahan sa kanang flu or pneumonia nga vaccine? Pwede ra gyud gihapon, but there must be a 14-day kanang interval, minimum interval from the flu vaccine. Pananglit nagdawat ka og flu karon, mo count kag 14 days. After 14 days, pwede nakatagaan sa COVID vaccination, no. Na dapat there will be a 14 days interval between vaccines. Okay, next. So I have here important reminders during vaccination session and vaccine administration. So before, during, and after vaccination, all people should continue to follow current guidance for protection from COVID-19, such as katong mag-wear og mask, wear og face shields, physical distance, and the hand hygiene, no. Kanang karon kay daghan kaayong gusto magpabakuna, ayaw taon mo dot didto. So kung daghan kayong nagtalipondok ha, so wait for your turn, no. Keep kanang social distance down. Then kung mahimo, kung way hugasanan dito, bring with you your alcohols kay para additional protection. Then don't forget to wear your mask and your face shield. Ig-adto sa vaccination post. Then a person presenting with COVID-19 symptoms should not be vaccinated. Vaccination may be offered to people who have recovered from COVID-19, whether symptomatic or asymptomatic. Again, sa ginaingon ako ganina, kung pananglit na atay gipamati, nya time na sa atong vaccination, sultian lang ang katong ni text nato nga kanang pwede pa-reschedule lang ko. Ayaw tawag adto sa vaccination post kung naatay gipamati sa lawas. Then this vaccine should only be administered in settings where appropriate medical treatment to manage anaphylaxis is immediately available. Hence, in settings with the necessary resources and trained health workers, and in settings that allow for at least 15 minutes of post-vaccination observation. So, again, sa atong vaccination post na atay daghan nga stations nga agian. So, ayaw kahadlok kay naara gyud tay mga doctors nga naa didto, naa tay mga medical practitioners, medical personnel nga mo cater dahil nato simbako og naay tay adverse reaction. And then we also have kanang ambulance on standby gyud sa ato ang vaccination post. No, so dili man sad ta nila diretso-diretso papaulion after ta bakunahan. So we will stay in the recovery or post-vaccination area for 15 minutes kung wala ra tay mga allergies. So dito no kuhaan ta dito BP nya. Sigihan tag pangutana kung unsa man okay ra ka, wa na lipong, and then also tagaan sa dieta nila o kanang antipyretics, no, paracetamol kay si bako puhon uli sa atoa kung maka-feel ta og adverse effects like kanang nisaka ang temperature, pwede nato to i-take ang atong antipyretics, no. So before vaccination, advise vaccine recipient about possible post-vaccination symptoms and observe post-vaccination for at least 15 minutes. So mo na siya BP-BPhan ta didto, di ta palakton ko dili ta ma-normal nagyud ang atong gipamati. Persons with history of allergic reactions should be observed 30 minutes post-vaccination. So mas taas-taas og staying time ang katong naay mga allergies kay obserbahan pa man na sila og ayo. Again, to alleviate post-vaccination symptoms, antipyretics or analgesics may be taken. So manang tagaan ta nila og paracetamol. So kung panalit mo saka mangganing ang ato ang temperature, iguli nato sa ato, pwede ta mo take sa paracetamol. Pwede siya i-take kung hilantan mangganing gyud ta, pwede siya i-take every 4 hours. And you are encouraged to drink lots of water gyud. Fluids gyud is very important. Then encourage a vaccine recipient to complete the vaccination series to optimize protection and schedule the time for the second dose. So pananglit na bakunahan tag first dose, ayaw jud kalimti ang atong second dose. Ayaw ilabay ang inyuhang cards nga madawat, no. Kumpletuhon gyud ang vaccination unless nagka-allergy ta sa first dose. So unsay nadawat sa ato ang first dose, mao sad gihapon atong madawat sa atong second dose, but sa studies ron murag naa siya kanang kabag-uhan, murag naa na sa siya updates. I don't know pa kaayo pa ko ka-delve further ani nga pwede ra gyud di ay kung panalit na bakunahan ta first og like for example AstraZeneca, pwede ra di ay kuno next kuan makadawat tag Pfizer, okay ra, wala ra di ay siya kanang adverse effect, no, mo nay bag-o. So, lastly, I will leave you with this. No, vaccines aren't a silver bullet, especially as the pandemic rages on. So, kaning matong bakuna, dili ni siya murag bala sa pistola nga kung maigo ang kontra, mamatay dayon, no. Ang atong kontra sa COVID-19, dili nato makita niya. Bisagi bakunahan na ta, pwede gihapon ta mataptan og COVID infection. So, we highly encourage everybody to get vaccinated kay additional protection ni siya nato. And not only vaccines, our vaccines must also be combined with our masks, face shields, hand washing, and social distancing to work as effectively as possible. Hand washing nga dili lang kanang patura sa tubig nya sabon-sabon diha gamay, no, dili ing ana ha, it must be proper hand washing nga i-rub gyud nato ang atong mga kamot kay para ma-destroy ang spike sa coronavirus aron jud na siya mamatay. And if we don't have kanang hand washing facilities, please don't forget to bring with you your alcohols, and then you rub your kanang hands with alcohol kung naamang tay mga kanang mahikap-hikapan nga magduda ta nga simbakog nahikapan ba niya na ay nag-COVID or something, no. And then social distancing is very important. If kanang wala ra jud moy necessary nga angay gawason, please stay at home, no, to prevent further transmission and to prevent mutation sa ato ang vaccine. Sa vaccine naman sa COVID, no? Sorry. Okay, to work as effectively as possible. And I guess that ends our discussion. Thank you very much and stay safe, everyone.
Also, Ma'am Mix, for caring for us, by sharing to us your expertise and very important information and reminders about the what, the how, and the where of the different COVID vaccines. All right. So before we proceed with our last two speakers for this morning, let me remind everyone that we are reading all your messages in the chat box. So keep them coming. And also, at this early, you may ask anything, all questions regarding our discussions for this morning. We will take note of that and we will answer all your queries when we go on to our open forum. All right. So at this juncture, we have with us Doc Gina to help us understand about the managing of AEFIs, or the adverse effects following immunization. Let's give it up again to Dr. Gina C. Yuamador.
Hello, good morning. Clear na ko? Okay. I have to talk about the adverse effect after sa injection sa atong COVID vaccine. There are 6 available vaccines sa Philippines sa karon. The Sinovac, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson and Johnson, which is the Janssen nga ginahatag lang kausa. The Gamaleya or the Sputnik, which is from Russia, nga dili kayo popular sa karon kay gamay pa ang niabot nga mga supplies. So, there are 3 types of adverse effect. The serious, minor, and the clusters of minor EFIs. The serious is caused by the potential risk to the life of recipient, leading to hospitalization, disability, incapacity, congenital abnormalities, defect, or death. Next is the minor adverse effect. This is an event that is not serious and does not pose potential risk to the health of the recipient. The third one is the cluster of minor effects. It is 2 or more of the same or similar events related in times, geography, and on vaccine administered. Next is the classification of adverse effect. First is the vaccine product-related reaction. It is caused by vaccine due to one or more of the inherent properties of the vaccine product. Second, vaccine quality-related reaction caused or precipitated by the vaccine that is due to or more quality defects of vaccine product, including its administration device provided by the manufacturer. Third is the immunization error-related reaction. It is caused or preoccupied inappropriated vaccine handling, prescribing, or administration, or it is also known as the program error. Next is the immunization anxiety. Common jud ni siya. Anxiety arising about immunization. Ang patient ani or ang person uneasy siya, na times nga mo increase ang BP, na apay times nga maglisod og ginhawa tungod sa kakuyaw. Yan. Coincidental events, it is caused by other vaccine products, immunization error, immunization anxiety, but a temporal association of immunization exists. List of common EFI or adverse effect following injection. Kani common ni siya kay bisang asa ka mag any type of vaccine nga atong madawat maka-feel jud ta ani. Pain or injection site. Pain on the injection site. Next is fatigue. Katang mura tagikapoy. Headache, fever. Mao ni siya ang flu-like manifestation. Usahay naapay kanang mura kag kahilantanon. Fever, mura kag kahilantanon nga naapay ka mo chill, makasukaon ka. Nya nasa presence of lymphadenopathy or kanang lisay-lisay sa atong ilok. Most common jud ni siya kay labi na duol sa kanang site sa injection diri sa atong deltoid muscles. Ang sunod is myalgia, muscle pains, katong mga joint pains. Then hypersensitivity, kanang nagmagrashes ka. Mao ni siya ang common effect. Then is the serious or preliminary adverse effect of following injection. Mani ang usa katong ingon nila nga Bell's palsy kanang facial paralysis. It is the inability to move muscles of the face on one or both sides. Then myelitis, inflammation of the spinal cord, which disrupt normal responses to the brain and to the rest of the body. Nasa unexplained episode of facial nerve weakness, mao na ni ang Bell's palsy. Then facial swelling due to allergy, usahay mamurot imong mata, kanang diri dapit sa may ilong, kanang mag-sinusitis ka. And the peripheral edema, swelling of lower leg or hands. Then dyspnea with exertion, kanang maglisod ka ginhawa, shortness of breath during kanang maglakaw ka, mag-exercise o ma-exert ka kusog or mao ni sa ato pakutas. Then lymphocytic lymphoma, it is the cancer of the immune system that affects the WBC. Then neuroinflammatory, it is inflammation of the parts of the central nervous system like sa brain, spinal cord, and the optic nerve. Ang pinaka-severe jud is nga di nato hulaton maabot ta ani is the anaphylaxis wherein murag mo constrict ng imong diri sa imong airway, maglisod na jud kag produce og ginhawa, hangin nga maglisod kag ginhawa. Then if ever ani nga mga list sa either common or katong severe or serious adverse effect, we have to report this sa atong barangay health center kay para matudluan ta or masultian ta unsaon ang atong buhaton. First, you have to report it to the barangay health center, wherein dito sa barangay health center naa joy usa ka grupo nga designated jud to attend sa atong needs about aning COVID vaccination, which is the BERTS or the Barangay Health Emergency Rescue Team. Kani sila mutabang ninyo or mo-assess ninyo nga mo report sa didto sa VOC or the vaccination center. Kaning mga vaccination center naa na jud mga assigned ani sila na dito naka-standby na mga ambulances, mga kuan kay dito man mo obserbahan nila. Kung unsa jud dagan ninyo, kung okay raw, so pwede ra mo balik. Kung di na jud nila makaya, so refer na jud mi dito sa mga accredited hospitals. So dito na hospitals, kung dito na ma-hospital na jud, kung maglisod na jud mo ginawa, kung manginahanglan na jud mga oxygen, mga ana, pero dili man jud sa tanan nga panahon or sa kwan nga mga reaction, maabot tag reaction kaysa karon wala man yung severe reaction nga naamong nadunggan. Mostly is mild ra kanang mga rashes, chills, fever, maura na siya. Kaysa ang atong vaccine karon nagkakuan naman, nagkadaghan na, kinahanglan ta magpabaksin, ay di mo kahadlok, madungog-dungog nga mga istorya, nga mamatay ka, makuan ka, dili man ka basta-basta tusukan og baksin, kay interviewhon pa man ka. So, kung naamoy mga allergies, ayaw ka ikog nga sulti sa inyong sitwasyon. Aron, ma-monitor sad mo kung unsa dapat ang ihatag nga baksin sa inyo. So, I hope nakakuan na mo, di na mo mahadlok pag abot sa panahon nga mabaksinan na mo, maabot na ang time kaysa karon nagkuan man sila nag-study nga ang mga vaccine nga gipanghatag sa 18 above pwede nga ihatag sa 7 years old to 17 years old. Aron makuha na nato ang atong herd immunity. So I hope nakasabot mo og lamdagan mo nga dili tanan or dili kitang tanan pare-pareho og reaction sa vaccine. Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you as well, Doc Gina, for that very informative discussion about managing the adverse effects following immunization. So we are now down to our last speaker, and she is no other than the mental health focal nurse Maria Meta D. Gonzalez to discuss to us about the mental health and COVID-19. Good morning.
Ang COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers.
Yes, Ma'am Meta. Good morning, Ma'am Meth. We can see your slides and we can see you, but we can't hear you, ma'am. Kindly unmute yourself, ma'am. Thank you. Wala gihapon, ma'am. Wala gihapon, ma'am. Yes, mute and unmute, ma'am. In the lower portion sa screen, ma'am, na ay icons. The first one is mute, then stop cam. Please, yes, please unmute yourself, ma'am. Thank you. Dili gihapon ka madungog until now, ma'am. All right, so while we are still fixing the technical issue from the other side, we already have questions from the chat box, so keep them coming. One of those questions is from Sir Archie Mayol, and this is noted, sir. We will answer your query in the open forum. We would appreciate if everyone um, will let us know unsa ang inyuhang mga questions, unsa inyuhang mga gikalibgan nga information or ganahan nga mahibaw-an pa nga information about COVID-19 or about the vaccination. We will be happy to answer to you all of that. Still muted, ma'am. So just allow me to read the messages from the chat box. Good morning from Kabangkalan National High School, from Ma'am Lorna Kapuyan. Good morning as well to Janina Marie Pilones from 11A1 Weber of Mandaue City Comprehensive National High School. Good morning to Ma'am Shehera La Pastora of Masespa, and also to AC Arcelias. Good morning. So just please bear with us because we are having some technical issues from the other side. Yes, Mamet, I can see you, but dili gihapon ka madungog, Mamet. Good morning from Hagubiao National High School Senior High School Department, from Sir Adrian Veneracion Soliano. Good morning also to Alith Sueco from Subangdako Elementary School. Wow, thank you so much for attending our webinar for today. Sir Cosme Cabusa, good morning, sir. Maayong buntag, and thank you for attending. Ma'am Lilibeth Cortez from Kabangkalan 1 Elementary School. Wow, we are so overwhelmed with your presence with us this morning. Thank you so much, Bisan Og. This is for senior high school and parents, pero we are really lucky to have you with us this morning. Ma'am Pai Mayol, good morning, ma'am. Thank you for attending our webinar. From Justin Rivera, maayong buntag from Labugon National High School. Also from Love Hesoler, good morning. Lovell Yongson, mother of Jaira Emmanuel from Mandawi Science High School. Wow, thank you so much, ma'am, for attending. Justin J. Maluluon, good morning from Kanduman National High School. All right, so I guess Mameta is now ready.
Hi.
Wow, finally,
Sorry.
Mamet.
Sorry
Yes.
kaayo ha.
It's
Sorry for the
okay. It happens, ma'am.
technicalities.
Yes. Mao ni siya ang ato
Okay, that's
ang
part of our life karong panahon na sa new normal. Ah,
Correct.
ay, wa di ay ko
Padayon,
maka-dry
ma'am.
run yun ani. Sige, padayon ko. Mayong
Thank you.
buntag sa tanan atong mga client, DepEd clientels ato gyud ni paspason og ato ning active yung maayo nga ato rong programa sa mental health. Hello. Hello everyone. Ang una natong buhaton, I will do this para sa inyo aron mo activate ang inyong mga hunahuna diha. Okay, blink your eyes. No, kay prolong looking at the screen will dry your eyes. Sige, i-blink blink, twinkle twinkle little star. Sige, i-blink blink na inyong mga mata aron di na mo dry. No? After that, close open ta, close open. For blood circulation, kay nagnam na atong mga kamot diha. Sige, glingkod. Sige, good morning sa atong DepEd clientele, the teacher, si ma'am ug si sir. Then ang atong mga mama ug papa, no? Katapad ang atong adolescents, the senior high school students nato. Kay one of our focus in mental health are the adolescents. Sige. Ang akong ihatag ninyo karon nga information, this is about taking care of your mental health. No? Kay ato permi madunggan nga it is okay not to be okay. But if you're not always okay for almost 2 years na ta karon sa ani atong pandemic, you're still okay, you're not okay good. You have to do something on your mental health, no? First, we have to physically healthy. Musunod na gyud ang atong mental health, no? Unsa may una natong buhaton during this time of pandemic, no? Unsa nato pag-fight si COVID? We have to strengthen our immune system. Balik-balik nilang gisulti ganiya sa mga speakers nga kani mo inom tag vitamin C plus zinc. Unsa man ang gamit ni zinc nganong ubanan man na kay mahal man na ma'am, mamita mahal kay ng vitamin C nga naay zinc mamita pero kay baw ka unsay gamit ni zinc importante kaayo. It will help your metabolism. It will help the vitamin C to boost your immune system, paisugon sa immune system or mo fight ni COVID. For wound healing, maayo dayon ka ng inyong mga samad-samad dihang ginagmay, basig masudlan na dihang mga virus, kay open wound na diha. No? And the most important one, take note of this, the last symptoms nga mugwa for COVID, ng mga pasyente nato, nga maatong mga clients, loss of smell and taste. No? Ang gamit sa zinc, iyang ipabalik dali dayon ang inyong smell and taste. No, kakita mo unsa ka importante si zinc, bisag mahal-mahal gamay si vitamin C with zinc, go gyud ta ana, no? Then sleep at least 8 hours at night. Why night? Nganong night man gyud ta matog, nga ganahan man mi matog og adlaw kay magsige mig chat ikagabi. No, mga anak, mga learners, labi na gyud sa atong adolescent, mama ug papa bantay ang inyong mga anak kay karon dugay kay na mga tog. No, magsigig chat-chat diha. Nganong night? Because during night, ang atong gitake, gipangkaon natong nutrients are being processed in our body and break down, then i-absorb ni body. That will happen at night. No? That is why katong atong mga night shift nga mga workers, graveyard shift workers, they have a night differential because at stake pud in town ng ilang mga health. Dali kaayo sila matakdan in town. No? Susceptible kaayo na sila sa sakit-sakit. Then increase your oral fluids. Unsa man ning gitawag og oral fluids? That includes your tubig. Kanang giinom natong tubig. Drink water more than, kung pwede lang, more than 8 glasses of water a day. Kung pwede, kung kaya lang palabuan yun ng 8, no? Then, kanang atong mga fruit juices, included na siya sa fluids. Katong murag tubig ba? Kanang milk natong atong gitimpla, included na sa fluids. Kanang tea nato, although tea and coffee is not good to take at night, then in moderation ra gyud na siya, that is part of oral fluids, no? Eat your fresh fruits and cooked vegetables. dapat cook ang vegetables nato this time during this pandemic kay nganuman na ay handlers that maybe they are infected with virus or mga matay na dihang nanang tapot diha nga mga virus no kay ang vegetables, there are some vegetables that are open nga dili siya i-unpeel imura na hugasan tagod-tagod diretso sagol so kinahanglan cook yun na siya. Don't skip major meals pamahaw paniudto panihapon kay nganuman mudaw ng imong immune system kay mudaw man ang imong blood sugar posible makuyapan kabuhion no panington og bugnaw. Avoid junk foods, alcohol, and smoking. Why man? Junk foods are not good in our body. It is high in sugar, it's high, daghang kay na siyang sodium, daghang asin. Alcohol and smoking, you should refrain kay nganuman they are toxins in our body. No, madaot ang atong major organs. And smoking, ang first natong maigo, kadiyot lang ma'am, ang first natong maigo is our respiratory system. No? Smoking from nasal going to your throat, going dito sa atong bronchial tube. So, avoid smoking kung pwede mo. Unag yun ang atong respiratory system unang maigo during COVID. Okay, next slide. Okay. Avoid those that makes you anxious. Unsa man ang anxious? Uy, hindi ko kasabot. Ang anxious is anxiety, kakuyaw. No, kakita mo anang graph diha. Those are statistical data of death. COVID nga nangamatay sa COVID nga mga tao. So our mental health strengths are different from one person to another. It varies in different level. Na ay tao nga dili kaya magtan-aw anang mga news nga inyon ana. Na ay tao nga magsigig paminaw og news pero gikulbaan na day inside. No? Sige nagkuba di na makatug kagabi Giputos ng tibok balay, gilaminate nagplastic. No? Our mental health strength are not the same. Some nga magsigig paminaw anang mga news nga number na COVID nga tao, number nga namatay, sigig paminaw sa mga silingan nga na, ang among pikasilingan ang igsuon ni kuan namatay na naingon ana sa manay maestra namatay og COVID ingon ana. So ato na i-refrain if your mental health is weak. No, kung dili nimo kaya mo absorb of those kanang mga mensahe. No, dili ta magsigig text about those things, i-avoid na nato. Okay? This is realistic that happens in our school among teachers, no? In schools, example ni nako, no? In schools, we have a group chat, no? There are some teachers that they are they're not for the advocacy of vaccination. Then they posted mga mensahe that are very pessimistic, negative messages against vaccination. We should stop those messages, no? I-avoid na nato o i-stop nato, no? For school heads, clinic teachers, ato gina stop ato na sila advisean nga that is not good to post those negative issues against vaccination because we are DepEd personnels. As DepEd personnel, DepEd is advocating pro-vaccination. So, kita magposta against vaccination. Whatever affiliation that you have, whatever group that you belong, keep it in yourself. No? Other people has the right to make their own decision. Dili nato sila i-influence. Kay those people who are not yet kanang decided whether yes or no, then makapaminaw og daghang kay negative, they can easily be influenced. So, mauna, ato na i-avoid because we're working in DepEd. We're advocating pro-vaccination. No? Mga ma'am, mga sir, ato na i-avoid. Mas maayog yun nga ang atong paminawon are from those authorized persons, no? Atong mga government nga mga spokespersons, the LGU, from DOH, from World Health Organization, from our division medical teams, mauna atong paminawon, the authorized people who can talk about COVID and vaccination. Dili katong mga hersing. Have you ever seen or search katong TikTok namo sa division nga katong ako yours truly ang artista, no? Makob, ingon bitaw ko, ha? Mazumbis ang magpabakuna? O si, laliman bakag mazumbis kang magpabakuna. Dili ta magtuo-tuo anang unauthorized people. It will make you anxious, mag-anxiety dayon ka, maglisod og ginhawa, panington, dili na ka mag-focus sa imong buhaton, mukuba ang dughan, di makatog, you get irritated, dali kayo magsigig pangsinghag, no? Those are signs of anxiety. Okay, next slide, ma'am. Relaxation technique. This relaxation technique is used to relieve anxiety, mga depression, mga unsa na mga mental issues nga atong na-feel during this time. No, gamit ka ini nato karon. We have there, the first one is breathing exercise. Breathing exercise pwede nato gamitan og as usual ang akong ipakita ninyo is the bulsita. Kaning bulsita makita ni nato at gipangputos ni sa ato mga kinumpra. So pilion nato tong limpyo nga bulsita atong sprayhan og alcohol or Lysol, no? We can use this one for breathing exercise, makasave nig life, no? Bulsita ra siya pero makasave siya life. This is the normal size nga dapat yun natong gamiton. Dili katong dako kayo kay basig makuyapan na kag sige bulhot diha, wa gyud ka makapaburot. Kaning bulsita ha ato ni paburoton og pakupuson. You have to inhale and exhale inside the bulsita. Why? Because kanang mukulaps gali ang tao, you don't only need oxygen, but you also need carbon dioxide. You had lot of oxygen around you, but you don't have carbon dioxide. Unsa may gamit ni carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide will urge you, musugo nimo og paginhawa. So useless oxygen kung way musugo niya og paginhawa. So ato ning idimo ha. Okay. Ingon ani, isod ang baba og ilong. Ingon ana atong paburoton mo. Bisag mo paburot mo mug 5 times, mawa na inyong kakulba, you will feel calm and you will feel relaxed. Okay? If you don't have the bulsita ding kulba na kay kadiha, nagkutog-kutog na ng dughan mura na kagkakuyapon, you can use your 2 hands. I-form og ingon ana murag calf, itabon sa baba og ilong. Ingon ana ha. More natong buhaton. Then, the next one is the yoga exercise. Okay, dili man ta pwede mo yoga, mo adto ta group yoga, dili gyud na pwede. You have to do your yoga exercise in your house. Naghan kay na sa YouTube for the beginners. If wala ka mayus og execute og yoga, gahi pa kay na imo mga joints diha, you use the yoga for beginners. Okay? That is good for breathing exercise and yoga. Sunlight. Kani, importante ka ining sunlight. What is the use of sunlight in our body? O kung magpainit ka, mugwa ka, maka-absorb na kay vitamin D. Then, ang imo calcium together with your vitamin D mo produce og calciferol, i-absorb sa atong bones, so minang mo strong ang atong bones. So, very good ang sunlight. That is not only the importance of sunlight, that is good for our mental health. Why man? When you go out and expose yourself to sunlight, you will release the serotonin. Unsa man na si serotonin? That is the good mood hormones. Mawa ng mga sapot. No, you will feel calm and focused. This is kinahanglan gid ni sa atong learners, labi na sa atong adolescents, no? Kanang mga agitated dali sa puton nga atong adolescents nga kay mo yung sultihan lang ni mama sa puton dai na napaadtuan na sa guwa mama, pa-expose og sunlight aron mo good mood na siya. No, very important to make you calm and focus. It will give you a good disposition. Another one nga i-release during the sunlight is the melatonin. Melatonin is our hormones for good sleep. Kanang na nag-insomnia, sige painit ka mo aron makatug ta ikagabi, no? Pagka nindot gyud anang sunlight, very important, no? Lukewarm water bath, no? Dili ta nang maglaswa na tagyod. Unsaon man pag-check kung kaya na nato ang kanang tubig atong ikaligo, gamito ni atong siko because this is very sensitive or kani. Mao na iana dito ay pwede na ko makaligo. What is the use of lukewarm water? Ang lukewarm water kung imo na siyang ikaligo, mo relax ang imong muscles, no? Pagka nindot ma-relax, it can relieve the pain kanang mga aches nimong ginagmay diyang sakit balakang, sakit akong tuhod, mga arthritis, maka-relieve na siya pain. Other one, walk on pebbles and stones. So, walk on pebbles and stone, mo adto jud kag dagat, dili pangulikta ra diha, butang sa suds balay. No, nya tamak-tamaki, labi na gyud ng pebbles sa sand kanang pebbles sa dagat nindot kay natamak-tamakan. If you are able to magpamasahi kanang ang atong tiil ila nang tusok-tusokon og marag pointer, no, na kay naa kuno diha ang points sa atong mga major organs. Moadto kag pamasahe, mubayad pa ka. Ala pagpundok na lang diag pebbles og stone og tamak-tamaki. O siwa pa kay bayad, mo increase pa imong blood circulation, no? Laugh therapy, kani katawanan ha, magkatawanan ta. There are two kinds of laugh. The other one is spontaneous laughing. O sa man spontaneous laughing? I-on mo imong TV, Channel 5, uy, naidyan ang Marcia, katawanan ka, important yun di mong katawa. That is spontaneous laughing. You laugh because there is a stimuli nga nakapakatawa ni mo, na kay nakita ni katawa. You release a happy hormones, which is the dopamine. But in laugh therapy, mukatawa ka sa way hinungdan. Lo, ma'am, mamita, unsa man na siya, mura tagbuang. Yes, dili tabuang, pero you will be relieved by your anxiety. That's a therapy. Ingnon ani, you laugh without reason. That is called voluntary therapy, laugh therapy. Ingon ani, you start with a smile and ends with a smile. Ingon ani ha? Ha, 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 ha. O see? Mikatawa mo sa akong gibuhat, naka-release kag happy hormones, o ako naka-release kog happy hormones. Pwede imo patong patasun aron mas daghan og happy hormones. Unsay gamit ni happy hormones against COVID? Happy hormones will increase your immune system, mulig-on sa immune system to fight against COVID, no? Dili wala ta nga buang ana. That's a therapy. Another one is self-talk. Hala, mamita, na unsa namang pud na mag-istorya ko sa akong kagalingon self. Akong kagalingon, akong istoryahon. Mura na gyud kong nabuang. No. That self-talk is also a therapy. Imo istoryahon mo adto kasi imong kwarto at tubang kag mirror. Talk to yourself. Kung nakay gikasukan nga tao, hala, kasabi na siya diha tubang sa mirror. Pagguha imong kasuko, wa pa ka makitag-away, na-relieve pa ka sa imong kasuko, no? Inya, naka-build up kag self-confidence because self-talk can build your self-confidence. Okay? That's very, very nice. Next one, try to achieve a positive thoughts, mood, and outlook in life. Sus, kagwapa, yun na akong tapad. Si ako nang si Rodolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer niya. Gitaparan kong nakasmile nga gwapa, feeling na ako ni gwapa na pugko, no? Positive outlook in our thoughts, in our mood, no, in atong pananaw sa kinabuhi is equal to positive attitude. Dili ka irritated, no? Maka-release na pugkag another happy hormones, no? Kay those pessimistic persons, mga negative outlooks in life, you will release a stress hormones, mga stress, mga saputon ng mga tao, sige na siya release of stress hormones. What is the use of stress hormones? Ang stress hormones will suppress your immune system. I-weaken niya immune system nimo, dali ka matakdan og COVID. So kana si cortisol na stress hormones ug si COVID, alay na sila, aton na sila gyud likayan. So everybody must smile. laugh, no? Aron makarelease tag happy hormones. The next tips is divert your time or attention to activities, no? You have there indoor exercise, no? Di man ta pwede ra ta mugwa or pwede ra diha sa atong atubangan, no? Pwede ta mag-exercise. Dong, palihog sa ako dong, pwede ta mag-exercise diha sa atong atubangan, no? Okay ra kayo na mag-exercise ta sa atong atubangan, no? During your exercise, you can also release a happy hormones. No, happy hormones gyud na every time nga you do something accomplished. Ni apo na si mamikmik na nilhig, nanlimpyo. So that is a diversion, another diversion activities, no? Accomplishment of cleaning your house, you can release a happy hormones. You have ang indoor nimo nga mga sports. Dong, palihog ko dong. You have also an indoor sports. Oh, table tennis. Table tennis is an indoor sport. Makarelease ka gihapog happy hormones ana. No. Gardening, plantito, plantita. And the last one is listening to the music. Kanang mellow music, no? Adolescents, dili ka na inyong paboritong mga rock music that will calm you down if you are in an anxiety level, no, of your mental health. Okay, next, ma'am. The number 6 nga atong pointer for mental health is to recognize your support group. Who are your support group? Number 1, your family. No, naa si Ma'am Raz. A very happy, healthy, and happy family. Ako na model si Ma'am Raz na siya from the division. Then, the medical team. 3 years ago na namo nga Christmas party sa bay. No? Mga happy kaayo na nag-release mi dihag happy hormones. And, your friends and your pure pets. Si Bantay, no? Naamoy meow-meow, no? Mag-release mo happy hormones, ana. Kaya nga, no, when you arrive, na nagwang kilig-kilig ang ikog ni kuan ni Bantay, sugat nimo happy kaayo ka, makarelease ka, ana, og dopamine, no? Niya kung sa puton ka, naa si Bantay niya ang imong, when you look at the face and the eyes of the dog, no? Kay very expressive man na sila. Din murag mawa imong sapot, no? Murag happy imong paminaw gaan, no? Okay, next, ma'am. Be a psychological first aider. Unsa man ang psychological first aider? An active listener, no? Naara ka diha, naminaw sa imong amiga nga problemado. Sige, istorya nimo. Yes, just be there. Sit down and listen. No? You are an active listener. You are conducting a psychological first aid. Bisag wa kay gihimo, wa kay gisulti, as long as you're there, ang imong present maunay naka-relieve niya. No? Like sa atong mga kanang government officials, how do they convey, they show their empathy to the public, no? Just there to kailang paminawon unsay mga huhungihong mga istorya sa publiko, ka-relieve na sila, no? Maka-relieve na sila og mga stress, anxiety. Example, no, kanang during na isunog, during na kanang major nga disaster, makit-an day na nimo nga naa gyud ang presidente ni ana, gyud ang presidente na ilinog, grabe nga linog ni ana ang presidente. Unsa may use ana pag-ana sa presidente para lang magpakita, magpasikat? No. The purpose of that is psychological first aid. Kanang assurance nga naami diri. We're just here waiting for you. We're just here to ready to help. No? Maunay gamit sa psychological first aider. Then in school, we have also kang magkinahanglan mo og mga services in our schools. We have also our kanang school guidance counselors, no? Katong mga problemado, si mama na problema ni Dudong, kanang dili gyud mo tubag si iyang pasagdan lang iyang module, dili mo tubag, na magsigilag tan-og salida, mga minor or major nga mga problema, pwede mo approach sa inyong about mental health, regarding mental issues mo, pwede mo approach sa inyong school guidance counselors. We have ang hierarchy, natay hierarchy from school guidance counselors. Kung dili kaya sa atong school guidance counselors, no, kay i-process mo gyud na ka ng mga major nga mental health issues, ila na i-refer sa atong district heads. Kana atong district heads, mao na ang atong mga registered yun nga guidance counselor. Naagyo na sila items as registered guidance counselor. Ang ilang trabaho, pag-process gyud katong naay mga mental issues sa atong West District na si Ma'am Doribel Ibanez, although dili ni siya, iyang item is not a registered guidance counselor. Maestra ni siya sa senior high, but registered guidance counselor license yun ni siya. No? Pwede dito i-refer sa atong mga school guidance counselor. Then sa atong dire sa North District and the South District na si Ma'am Pintor, Ma'am Annie Pintor, and si Ma'am Imelda Espanyol. Din dire sa Central District na si Ma'am Emily Perez, no? Kay baw na ana ang atong mga school guidance counselor whom to refer sila. Then if dili kaya dito sa level sa district, no? Ila na i-refer diri sa amo sa division. Na ako as your division mental health coordinator and ang atong medical officer si Dr. Lucila Abilida, ato na himay-himayon din atong i-refer dito sa mga doctors, no, the psychiatrist, the psychologist, ato gina sila dito i-refer katong mga severe na gyud kinahanglan gyud og pagtagad og mga medications. Okay? And now, in our mental health program, we have some services to reach out, no, sa atong mga estudyante nga naa sa balay, no, atong clients that are in the house, kana mga teachers that are work from home, no, natay tambagi ko online for those who have mental health issues, katong mga mama, mga parents, kung natay mga problema, mental health issues sa inyong mga anak, pwede ta aning tambagi ko online. Kanang atong tambagi ko online, naa diha ang contact number, messenger, then mga email ad, any source of makontak nimo ang atong mga school guidance counselors, no? Aron ma-refer mo nila. Naara diha nakahang na sa inyong atubangan gyud sa gate sa eskwelahan kani example mao ni. Oh, nakahang yun na, basahon yun na ninyo kana magkuha mo modules basa. Uy, ni anda si ma'am na ako'y problema sa akong anak kay ani ako ni tawagan si ma'am. Makatabang yun na, no? Na ako yun na sila require each school, elementary or secondary, naagyud sila ani. Then we have also the mental health box. Kana atong mental health box that is not only for learners. Super wala man gud tay learners. Amo na siya ron redesign for the parents kay sila ang atong makit-an nga naa sa school during module distribution. So teachers, mental health coordinators, clinic teachers, guidance counselors, please put the mental health box near the strategic area kanang maagian gyud nila paghuwag kuha og module. So pwede mo dito mo drop kung di mo makatawag, di mo makasend og messenger kay way internet, diha mo drop mo diha from time to time every day, every time after sa distribution of modules ilagyo na chikon kung na bay solo, di ba mga ma'am? Okay. Another services is the Zumustahan. O kanang Zumustahan usually gigamit na siya for those student nga naay mga kanang mga kahagbungon, nangahagbong, ilag yun na siya i-group assist nila, ila na ibutang og Zumustahan. Si parents encourage also to attend the Zumustahan. Makahibaw sila kung unsay na status sa ilang mga anak, no? Ana mo diha kumustahon. Naa ang atong registered guidance counselor diha mo ang uban inviteon mo attend. Usually conducted yun na sa atong school guidance counselor, required sila anak mo conduct, no? Those are our mga services sa mental health program. Okay, next ma'am. Ay, that's the end. Thank you everyone. Together, we can help a lot of people going through emotional issues like mental health issues. Every little things matters. Every little act makes a difference. Let's keep our hands together and help each other. Let's cooperate. Whatever kanang God is always there. Whatever is your religion, whatever is your belief, as long as you believe that there is a creator. Okay, thank you and thank you for listening.
Yes, of course. Daghan pud kaayong salamat, Ma'am Meta. Once again, that was Ma'am Maria Meta Gonzalez, our division nurse, for that very informative discussion about the mental health and the COVID-19. So daghan jud kaayo tag nakatunan for today, for our webinar for today. And again, that was the medical unit, of course, headed by Doc Lucila Abilida, Doc Gina, and Doc Chriselle Ayunan, and of course to all our division nurses. So once again, a virtual round of applause to everyone, to all our speakers. Thank you so much for all of those important information nga angay ra namong makatunan karong adlaw. So at this juncture, let me call on my partner in the Youth Formation Division, the Project Development Officer 1, Ms. Glaidiza Gochoco, to facilitate the open forum.
Morning or good afternoon to all of you. We have so much of our information overload, but I'm sure you have questions in your mind there. So this is now the time that you are free to ask questions. We are very privileged that with us is Lucy Abilida. She is a pediatrician and she can shed light on whatever questions you have in mind right now. So feel free to ask your questions. So you can type on the chat box. Okay? Type on the chat box so I can read and our Dr. Abilida and the rest of the team can answer your question. So we have so many questions, no, bisag daghan kitang information. There are things that we still need to know and you want to know but wala na discuss. Okay? So feel free to ask question lang. Feel free to just drop your question in the chat box and I'm going to read it so that I can redirect it to the right person. So what I've said, Dr. Abilida is a pediatrician. I'm sure she can shed light with all of us. No? Okay, so the first question was from Archie Mayon. Maayong buntag, ma'am. Until when is the efficacy of the vaccine and how long are we protected? Okay. Anybody from the team who can answer the question? Until when is the efficacy of the vaccine and how long are we protected by the vaccine? That's from Archie Mayon.
Actually, hello?
Sige, Doc.
Okay, mabati na ko?
Yes,
Yes.
Doc.
Okay.
Yes, Doc.
Actually, the vaccines that we have now, which are considered safe, wala pa dyoy nakasulti og when. Just like any other vaccines, no, kana atong measles, ato ang polio, no, ang atong para sa TB nga BCG, it goes the same process, no, every year, every month, every quarter ina na kuha ag laboratorio ang tao nga na-injectan kay first injection nato was March, no, usually mga doctors man to sa PGH ang nahatagan og una, so naanas like quarterly kuhaan sila dugo, so by quarter, halimbawa karon pila na ta ka months, almost to 6. Kung karong 6 months kuha na sila, i-check kung nanabagyapon, napabagyapon ang antibodies sa ilang Sinovac. So, remember, Sinovac was the first vaccine that arrives. So most are given to the health professionals, no? Including our Soto, Sinovac sa ng mga doktor din tanan. So kuhaan sila unya. Tan-awon kung naapa ba ang antibody. So after 6 months na kuhaan na sad. So makatel ta nga 1 year na pa ang vaccine. So kuan pagid siya ang process pa ana ang pag-detect og when is continuing, dili pa nato matel. So halimbawa after 5 years inagkuha sa kaning na first na bakunahan, wala na nakita nga vaccine after 5 years and 3 months. So that's the time maka-conclude sila nga inag 5 years mo booster ta kay muhinay na day ang antibody ani nga year. So mao na siya nganong makaingon ta nga, uy mag-measles ka, bustirin na imong anak inag 1 year ha, kay kinahanglan mabustiran yun nag-measles, no? Or kanang imuhang polio dipiti, mabustiran na nimo inag 1 year 6 months para ma-enhance ang iyahang antibody content sa iyang body. And after the 6 months, lifetime na siya nga protection. So ingon ana ang proseso sa atong bakuna. I hope I have answered your question.
Thank you so much, Doc. No, Arch, I hope Dr. Abilidad explained it well to you, and I'm sure you had already understand. No, now another question is coming from Marina Amistad. Good morning again. My son is already registered both in barangay and online, but as of now, no text schedule. How many months the registered person get the schedule? This is her
Okay.
question. Anybody from the
How old is the son? 18? 18?
Okay.
Kung mayon siya 18, unya wa siya comorbidity, mauwa-ahwihi gyud na sila. Kay nakabantay mo na ay mga A1, A2, A3, gifis kuan man na sila gi-group, no, according to priority. So karon ang ilang gi-prioritize karon ang A3 kanang naagyo mga comorbidities. Halimbawa na may silingan niya dili magpabakuna kay way kasakyan padung sa vaccination center la tawagan na. So mao na inyong i-tell sa inyong barangay nga ma'am, ganahan ta magpabakuna way kasakyan. So ihatod na sila or mo-arrange sila nga ang mabakuna may moanha gid sa inyong community. So as I've said sa imuhang anak, less pa na sila lugar na siya sa group C, no? Ang group C anyone na nga mo mahatagan. Unless para sa akong anak 18 years old gipa-injectionan nako kay nabilong man siya sa A1 family. A1 man ko. Pwede man ko magdag virus sa balay kay kuan man ko kanang singan ani health professional. Duty ko hospital mo rounds ko patient so A1 ko. All my family members are qualified for an A1. So prioritization sa tamam. Madugay-dugay gud siguro kung okay kay mong anak kanang healthy ra gyud. So okay? Pero ayaw pa wag tag pag-asa, paniid kay naabay time nga nagkahapon sa J Center. Mingaw kaayo. Unya mo na makuanan, matagaan ang uban. Nagay uban teachers nga magkuan bitaw magpamasin nga masud sila. So mo to ma-injectionan og sayop nga wa pa natawgi. Kay na-registered naman. So ana lang.
Thank you so much, Doc. So, Ma'am Mirna, I hope you already understand. No? Yeah, the government is doing everything to provide us with the vaccines of patients lang. So, kailangan may mga priority. Okay, can we hear some more question? Makakagutom na mo, I'm sure. So, are there still some questions that you want to ask so that Dr. Abilida and the team can answer your questions? So, can we have some more? No more, no? So, let's kuhan siguro. Yes, ma'am. Wala na? Okay, I think that would be all.
Ma'am Glay,
no more questions.
Ma'am Glay, I would like,
yes, Doc.
Ma'am Glay, I
Yes,
would like
go
to
ahead.
emphasize ha, kanang mga breastfeeding mom, kanang they can be vaccinated, no? Kay once you are vaccinated, you have an antibody production sa imong body, and in that extent, you can give the antibody also to the child nga imong papakunahan. Okay? So, ako tang i-emphasize no nga maayo ta tug tanan-tanang mga bata nato mabakunahan pero wala may enough funds, wa pa enough study. So naiuban nga pwede na kuno antud gikag kaning mga 17 years old pwede na mabakunahan no ng Pfizer na 12 years old to 17 years old pwede na daw pero wa pa man tay available vaccine. Ang ato lang yun is kitang mga tigulang-gulang na diha sa pamilya, kita mismo should be protected para maprotektahan nato ang atong mga bata nga mamauli ta sa atong balay dili ta kubak-kubahan ba nga sus basig nakadakog virus mahatag na ko sa akong 5 years old, mahatag na ko sa akong 9 years old kaya wa man gyud sila bakuna pa di pa man gyud sila pwede matagaan. So that's why one of the importance nga nung magpabakuna ta is para dili ma-prevent dili ta mo severe infection, mao gyud na no, magka-COVID jud ta pero ang study na kita gyud sa mga data nga kasagaran na bakunahan na milder or moderate no ma-manage ra gyud nato mga antibiotics ngon ana. Unya ikaduha atong iprotektahan ang atong mga anak no. Kina siya atong kanang usa nato ka importante nga mahatag nato sa mga bata. Nganong di man sila bakunahan kay kani sa mga bata dili man allowed moadtog mga mall, di man sila magsuroy-suroy. So kung matakdan na sila kita ra gyud dagko ang nakatakod nila. No, wa man na nato sila gidada merkado, wala. Wa nato gisugog tindahan kay madakpan unya not allowed man na sila to go out of the house. So mao nang kita mismo mao ay makada o kagaw COVID ngadto nila. So again, I repeat, kinahanglan gyud ta magpabakuna. Ayaw na paghuwat ni bakuna nga si kuan kay basig maabsanta, no? Kusog ra ba kay modagan si COVID labi na gyud ning atong Delta. So kuan gyud paninguha nga mabakunahan na mo. Sige.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay, thank
No, I think no, the question I think has been answered na Ma'am Rose Ann Havagat. No, what can you say for those staff who are not get who are afraid to be vaccinated? So I think Dr. Abilida had explained the danger and the positive thing about the vaccination while at home. No? But maybe you can add something, Doc, or was it it?
There are staff nga dili gyud sad nato sila mapugos kay di biya mandatory, no? Pero kani nga staff kung mag-picture ta atong herd immunity nga gi-show ganina, kuyaw ni sila. Kay kung simba ko magka-COVID, maka-infect man gyud sila o isa pa ka staff nga wa nabakunahan or staff nga nabakunahan pero milder lang ang symptoms. No? So mao nang kuyaw kung nakay kauban sa opisina nga wa pa nabakunahan, they might be infected kay maka-infect sad sila glain. Kaning nabakunahan na, ma-infected ka pero ang study showed nga lower ra ang viral load. So dili kaayo daghan ang virus nga load nga naa sa imong body. So kung makatakod man ka, milder sad ang mahatag nimo. Labi na kung exposed na nimong tao, naduol nimo ang tao kadiyot lang, so nakahatag ra kagamay ra nga viral load, so they might have symptoms of sipon, ubo pero dili grabe. Okay? Kung kaning way makuna, they can give load nga virus yun, daghang load. But we have to respect their decision. Dili gyud ta kapugos, no? Kung panitan sa ilahang religion, takapugos ana. Basta wa lang ta nagkulang pagsulti nila og unsa ka importante ang bakuna.
Okay, thank you so much, Doc. Also, I think I cannot see any more questions in the chat box. So thank you so much for the medical team headed by Dr. Abilida, no? For the well-informed discussion about COVID-19 and the vaccine. So for this, I will turn you over to Ma'am Karen, our MC for this morning. Thank you.
Yes, thank you also, Ma'am Gladita, for facilitating our open forum. So to everyone, daghan kayong salamat for those questions. I hope we have answered your queries, and I hope na kasabot rata. I'm sure we are all learning from today's webinar. Right? So we will be sharing to you our attendance link for today in the chat box. And that should be bit.ly/COVID-19 underscore vax underscore attendance. So once you click on submit, it should prompt directly your certificate. So just make sure to input correctly your email address. All right. So shout out to Ma'am Annie Donaldo for being with us also this morning, to Ma'am Adeline, to Ma'am Fe, and to everyone, to all the viewers. All right. So I hope everyone will do the attendance link so we can know if kinsa ang mga nang attend karong morning. So hello to the 122 viewers right now. Although it's already past 15 minutes to 12, naagihapon mo with us this morning. Right, so to formally end this webinar, help me welcome our WINS focal, Nurse Maria Liza P. Orbistondo. Right, so before Mali and this webinar, we welcome our quiz global Nurse Maria Liza P.
Our school's division superintendent, Dr. Nympha Di Bongo, our ASDS, Dr. Leia Apaw, SGOD Chief, Dr. Adeline C. Luarez, and our CID Chief, Dr. Jaime Roynan, and to all the students, parents, teachers, good morning. I would like to start by thanking all the students, teachers, parents who are in attendance today, our SGOD family, the HNU staff, Youth Formation Division, the ITO headed by Sir JP and of course Sir Dante. Thank you for making this webinar possible. As we close today's activity, I just hope that whatever learnings that we have, this can influence our decisions for the best interest, not only for ourselves, but most importantly, to the whole populace in general. Always remember this, kung tayo ay protektado, kung tayo ay bakunado, tayo ay protektado. So let us do our share by getting vaccinated, because only by our collective effort do we end this pandemic. Thank you very much. Keep safe and God bless everyone.
Thank you as well, Ma'am Liz, for also organizing this webinar. And to all the medical staff, thank you. And of course, to the Division of Mandaue City, daghan kaayong salamat for initiating this kind of a webinar. So always remember that healthy citizens are the greatest asset anyone can have. Once again, this has been your host, Karen Ibanez, saying to you all, amping and magpabakuna na ta. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for attending. And please don't forget our attendance link that is in the chat box. Again, that should be bit.ly/COVID-19_vax_attendance.
COVID-19 virus ay airborne o kumakalat sa hangin. Hindi lang ito nasa talsik ng laway o sipon na mabilis bumagsak. Kasama din ito sa hininga na tulad ng usok, lumulutang sa hangin, naiipon pagtagal at lumalayo. Ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa mga paraan ng pag-iwas? E di pareho din ng pag-iwas sa usok. Sa bahay, pag naipon ang usok, magbukas ng bintana o pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Sa loob naman ng sasakyan, buksan din ang mga bintana para dumaloy ang hangin. Sa trabaho, ganun din. Laging buksan ang mga bintana at pintuan at pagalawin ang hangin palabas. Higit sa lahat, kung may gagawin tayo at kaya naman, piliin ang hindi kulob na lugar. Kung tulong-tulong tayo sa pag-iwas, kaya nating talunin ang COVID-19. Isang munting paalala mula sa inyong healthcare workers.
I am Mandaue, bringing the best. I am Mandaue, bringing the best. I am Mandaue, bringing the best. Ideal DepEd Mandaue, bring the best in you.